All right. G'day, everybody. Osman Collect 63 here, and just playing a bit of chill out music so I wait for everyone to turn up. So I get my bits and pieces together. That's a bit of intermission music. So we chill out, just wait for some more people to turn up. Everyone's had a fantastic weekend. So I definitely have. Hey, there's the man. Let me turn this off. All right, how we going, Josh? Yeah, mate. Yeah, got ya. So I was just playing a bit of intermission music. I was just waiting for someone to turn up.
But yeah, man, I was just sitting in one of the other spaces just for 2 minutes because when I hopped on Twitter, and they're all over there talking about the interview again. So
yeah, it's been a bit of a hot topic lately, isn't it? Is that that's not over in the Sunday collector space, is it?
Yeah, well, I invited Mr. MC1. I invited Steve. I invited several people to talk about the topic today. So I'm hoping they hop over here and start discussing.
Yeah, cool.
But yeah, there's a lot to talk about this week.
yes, it has been. Yeah, I know. I've been seeing it blow up all over Twitter like after that interview. But hey, Sven's here as well. Oh, I saw Sven, so he sort of dropped in, dropped out. There he is. I see Dev as well. Dev, thanks for dropping in, mate. And now we've got a few people. Now we've got a few people with us. Let's get some intro music going. All right. Yeah, everybody. Osman Collect 63 here, and we're back again with another episode of VeVe Weekends. This is the weekend show. We're up to episode 21. Fantastic, 21. Wow. So we're zipping along. And I'm joined by my fellow co-host, the one, the only Mr. I'm going to say Mr. Panther, Mr. Collector's Gone Digital, aka Josh. And I do have where is it? That one. How are you, Josh?
Not too bad, man. How you been doing this week?
I'm good, mate. Yeah, good. So it's been a good weekend. So I had actually today I have it's actually my son's 5th birthday party.
Oh, very nice. Happy birthday to him.
Yeah, well, it is actually his proper birthday is on Tuesday, but we're just getting the party in because that's all his little friends could make it. But it was a good day, good fun. So we basically rented out a bit of a soft play. So they provided food, and we just had to bring a birthday cake. And they basically ran amok. Had what they have: chips, hot dogs, and little bits of like finger food. Had some cake and went home.
Perfect. Sounds like the perfect kid party.
That was great. It was fantastic. So, what about you? How's your weekend been?
To be honest, man, it's been quite boring on my end. I've just been doing a lot of work. I actually I'm doing a little project with Dino for his company.
No way.
Yeah, I'm redoing their logo. So he reached out to me, so I've been kind of going back and forth with them for that. Just some client work, and then just trying to stay up to date with what's going on in the community and around the whole OMI token and this interview and just a bunch of stuff. So other than that, man, just nothing too special.
Cool. You have to say hi to Dino for me next time I speak to him. He's been quite difficult to get hold of now. He's decided to go off of social media, and so the only way I've got contacting him is emails, and I'm actually shocking at writing emails. So I'm going to make that top of my to-do list tomorrow morning when I wake up, as I write him an email.
Well, what's funny is it doesn't even seem like he's too involved on the email side either. Anything online. He originally reached out to me, and ever since that first inquiry, I've just been dealing with his brother.
I see. Yeah, he tried ringing me on my phone, but because he can ring me, but I can't ring him or something like that. It's something to do with the areas and networks and stuff like that. But it's right pain in the ass, to be honest.
That's what an ocean between you two will do.
That's exactly right. That's why I got to try and get to America. which is November's task. Get there for Decon.
Yeah. I want to try and get to one of the two, if not potentially both of them, the New York and Vegas, because they're kind of back to back towards the end of the year. So,
ooh, yeah, we'll see. Hopefully you can get to Vegas. Like, we can meet up with the rest of the fam. We can go nuts and bring VeVe to Vegas
for sure. I see Shadow down there.
Yeah, hey Shadow, how are you, mate? So if you can, feel free to come up and join in the conversation. I see Sven as well. Dev, thanks for dropping in, guys. Much appreciated. I know there's other spaces going on at the moment, so just appreciate you taking a bit of time to come drop in on ours.
Yeah, maybe some of those juicier topics we can kind of move into later on. But other than that, I don't know what you had on your list in terms of like movies and comics and stuff like that. But.
Yeah, well, we can jump straight into it. Well, basically, what I had on my list of talking points is let's see. Oh, I want to say a bigger congratulations to you as well, Josh, for the last video you dropped about the crafting ideas on VeVe. I thought that was kind of cool.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it was. I got it out a little late, so the video didn't really do too well. But yeah, so some unique ideas. I think a lot of those ideas have issues with them, but if VeVe can get around them, I think it would be some cool things to implement. Especially the quests, like the I don't know about you guys, but the really long crafting idea I really like. If you have to collect like 20 collectibles in a row, 25 collectibles, and you qualify for something super special, and that crafting event takes place over 2-3 month period, that would be super fun.
Yeah, it's like a massive like scavenger hunt, basically, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, that would be cool. That would be cool. And if you like sort of make it like to the end, like do like you 20 items over 2 months, then if you make it to the end, you basically just deserve to have that item, whatever's crafted, because like the amount of dedication to sort of get to the end, it's like, yep, you can have it. You've earned it.
It's like a journey, yeah. And I mean, you can even combine with things like scavenger hunt, where like it's like symbols you have to decipher and then figure out what the collectible is and stuff like that. So you can do a lot of it.
Yeah, it's fun. So we've got Sven up the stage. Sven, how are you, mate?
Hi. It's been 3 weeks now, but I'm happy to be here again.
I know. I'm sorry, Leno, but first of all, let me apologize, everybody, for not hosting the space last week. I was away for a long weekend because it was my wife's birthday, so we went away for a long weekend down southern England, down to the Cornwall area. Normally very nice, but it was bucketing down with rain, so it wasn't too great.
Always first things first the wife, and then VeVe and the other things.
Oh, mate, yes. Well, yeah, I try and keep the wife happy, but sometimes it's very trying. Actually, funny enough, this actually brings me one of my talking points, because I thought this was quite a good talking point. Is that because I mentioned before, my son turns 5 on Tuesday, so we had his birthday party a little bit early today, and my wife comes up to me and says, "Now, I don't want to hear you talking about NFTs or VeVe or crypto, because nobody wants to hear about any of that sort of stuff." And I was just like, "What?" I was like, "But anyway." So my question is: has anyone else out there and listening had this problem with their spouse or other half?
Absolutely. Oh my God, no hesitation there. Oh yeah.
I was like, good, okay, good. So it's not just me. I was like, because that right there was basically the inspiration behind creating this entire space, and basically like helping create like the VeVe Collective and start these Twitter spaces as an outlet for these sort of things. Because that's the kind of like the resistance I'm dealing with outside of this space.
Unless you're close to the niche, you won't get the niche. That's the thing.
Ooh, I like that.
Today we had a birthday party too. So we had some birthday party of my sister's son, and my other brothers were there too, and they were really talking about VeVe, and they just tried to ignore them a bit, but it's a problem. It's a big problem.
By the way, Sven, I saw all your dance moves in France. You were killing it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think everyone saw those dance moves, mate. I was surprised you're not like an internet sensation yet.
I did my best there. I was drunk, but I went for it.
I see about you representing. And speaking of representing, the Mint Hunter extraordinaire, Chris Severs. Chris, how are you, mate? Oh, are you there, Chris? Oh yeah. Go, mate. How are
you? Sorry about that. I had my mic on mute.
That's all good, mate.
How are you guys?
How are you?
Good. Yeah, sorry, I was just listening to Sanjay's Mr. MC1's got a live stream right now. So I was just listening to that.
Yeah.
I heard your comment about the birthday, and I thought, no, that's more fun. I'm coming in.
Yeah, that's right. I was just saying, like, my missus was basically saying, like, because it was my son's 5th birthday today, saying, like, no, when we go there, I don't want to hear about VeVe. I don't want to hear about NFTs. I don't want to hear about crypto. Nobody wants to hear about it. Like, it's all rubbish and that sort of stuff. I'm just like, well, okay, well, that basically just cements the whole fact why I do these spaces.
Yeah, well, it's true.
But yeah,
hey, I get it as well. Everyone thinks I'm nuts, and I get a lot of pushback from my wife. She's like, "Oh, what are you doing right now? Are you VeVeing?"
Are you VeVeing?
Yep. I'm VeVeing.
Yes, dear, I'm VeVeing
around the house here. So. Yeah,
doing the big V. I like it.
Yeah, it's funny because we're going to my sister's later for a family dinner, and they said the same thing. Don't bring up VeVe.
And just like, I'll try it.
Addicted to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? My brother had his 4 accounts with him, so we're like a family with 6 children in there. So my brother owns several accounts where he owns certain amount of money on each account, and he managed to score the Black Panther on one of my other brothers, his account. And we were talking about that, and at the moment when you start to tell people he added $50 in it and gained $300, then at the moment the people start listening.
That's right.
At that moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's it. They go, ooh. So how do I make that easy money? And then that's where we have like the repeat of a few years back, like where we had like people wallets going to 50K and all that sort of jazz.
Yeah, I agree. If you can make a bit more money with it, people start to get a bit more interested in it.
Yeah, it's true. But Chris, also a big congratulations to you as well, mate. I see you picked up some more 39s. I see you recently just picked up Black Widow and Hawkeye. So congratulations to you, sir.
Oh. Yeah, thanks. These things just keep showing up for me. Like the cosmos is aligning.
I know it's hard, isn't it? Like
what do you call it? The multiverse of edition numbers.
Exactly. And you think like you're just done, and you're just like, yep, no, I'm not going to look in the app again. Like the credit card's going away, and then you just gradually find yourself quiet at night and just go, I'm just going to have one look. And then next thing you know, bang, there's another 39 there. You're like, no.
I gotta shut it off. Like, it's funny because a lot of times I don't go to sleep until midnight, 1 a.m. our time, and it just seems to be that zone is when everything just shows up. These perfect edition numbers. It's like, oh, I'm not really thinking about it. I'm just gonna dump because there's a drop coming the next day or something like that. People are trying to get gems, and for the number hunters out there, it's good. That seems to be the sweet spot. The challenge is then I wake up, I'm all tired, getting sleep. Right?
Yeah.
It's the addiction.
That's it. So the thrill, the chase, I guess you could say.
It is, yeah.
But yeah, what about you? You, Josh, Sven, did you guys have any luck on the drop or in the market?
Yeah, I got a uncommon Hawkeye. I ended up just selling it in the market, to be honest with you guys. So I didn't hold on to it, but you know me, I was going for the secret rare.
Yeah. So no Not looking to pick one up in the market, or just too out of reach?
No, I probably will pick one up in the market, just not right now. I'm gonna wait the several days for the prices to settle and stuff.
Bit of cool off. So, what are you, Sven? So, I see you you had a little bit of luck.
I didn't have luck. My other brother had some luck with the Black Panther, but I tried 10 times. I told myself I loaded $150 in the app and I wanted to try 10 times. But I didn't get the Black Panther, and I got few I think six Iron Mans, one Black Widow, one Hulk, and then the other ones were Hawkeye. And I got 47 Hawkeye, but it's on the market now, but it won't sell for the moment. So wasn't a big day for me. It was a rather bad day.
No, okay, so it sounds like you got everything but the secret rare.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully with a bit of luck, Randy will come in and scoop up that Hawkeye for you.
Yeah, I asked him. I asked him on Twitter. I actually begged him.
Nice. Also, see a few more listeners coming to stroll again. I see Hinano. I see Kid Arcade. So thanks for joining, mate. It's a shame you were having problems with your Wi-Fi, so there was no show this Sunday. But apparently there's one coming on Tuesday. So stay tuned, everybody. You will be back. I also see Dutch Homie as well. VeVe Wheels. Thanks for dropping in, mate. Always see you supporting the channel and the space. So awesome to see you here. And Hinano, bro, VP, how are you, bud?
What is up, VeVe Weekends? What's going on? What's up, Oz? What's going on, Josh?
What's going on
with you? What's happening, Seven? Guys, I want to let you know that the community members in the Ivory Tower will not be showing up. Mr. MC1 did get your note, Josh, but they didn't really even. I don't think they're coming, guys. I'm sorry.
Well, that's okay. All the important people and fun people are here now, so that's
so much for running the space during the same one. But moving on.
Nah.
Yeah, I was frustrated because they didn't even take the time to acknowledge the space, but he did get your message. So,
well, no. I say that because I tagged him yesterday as well as a bunch of others in that space to come and join VeVe. So, yeah.
They may come in after, though. I think they're closing up shop soon, but it's the talk of the town, right? Everyone's talking about the interview. But how's everyone doing?
No.
Yeah, doing good, mate. So, what about you? How'd you go in the with the drop today?
So, I missed it initially. I went for the rebound. I actually bought a bunch of gates yesterday, so I didn't really want to go for a drop, but I went for one. I got a Hawkeye. So I'll keep that one for the burn, I guess. And then I purchased the Hulk because I really like the Hulk Mighty, and I got him like super cheap. I think for me personally, it's like my favorite Hulk in the app. And then I also went and got a Black Widow and a DoktaStrange.
Nice. Yeah, that DoktaStrange is a nice piece.
Yeah, they did a really good job on the animations. I'm beginning to like the Mighties now. I didn't like the Mighties before, but they're growing on me.
No, nice one. So I sort of went a bit of a different direction. I sort of picked up. I actually got some. What I get? I got the hello, welcome to New York and San Diego posters. So I got some cool little palindrome mints, and I also got one really good one, which I think was the welcome to New York one, which a palindrome binary mint. It was 1001. So I thought that was kind of cool. So I thought I'd pick that up, and also being a single set is good for MCP points as well.
Let's go.
Those are great. Those are great.
So I was like, okay, wicked. I'll have that.
They're so rare, Alex. They're so rare.
I know. That's what I thought too. I was like, not only is it a binary mint, but it's a palindrome. I was like, ooh, and it's also pretty close to floor price as well. I was like, yeah, no, I have to do it.
Yeah, fantastic. That's kind of why I got that the Spider, the ASM 299 last night. I was sitting there. I was DMing back and forth with one of the whale guys that I chat with a little bit.
Yep.
And it popped up, and it was floored. It was probably listed before, and all of a sudden, that's where the floor ended up. And I was just like, holy smokes. And he's like, yeah, there's only 15 of those. If you don't grab it, I'm grabbing it. Give me a minute. So
it's like, well, you're not giving me much choice, are you?
No. And there's a quarter of my March budget burnt in the first day of the month.
Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah, when we started doing the numbers, because there's a couple of websites I follow on, how to check binary numbers and palindromes and all that. I typed in the floor was 1 up to 6,000. There's 15 of those available, and it's a secret rare. I said, holy cow! I got to do it.
Yeah, just have to close your eyes.
They're fun. Exactly, yeah. They're just. I mean, for me, it's part of the fun too, right? It's how I chase things. But I've been wanting that cover since it dropped, and I think the floor just ran up to $250, $300. I'm like, wow, it's kind of out of reach. It's hard sometimes when there's all these 150 mint secret rares, under $100 right now. That with some of the new stuff, but the characters aren't as popular. So that's the trade-off, right? But this one, I was just like, yeah, no, I'm a Spidey fan too, so I had to say, let's do it. So that's why it's nice to have you guys to talk to and have this emotional outburst, because I won't be able to tell anyone at dinner tonight. I'm not gonna care.
That's it, man. That's what the space is for. Get it all out.
And shout out to you guys for this space. I've been in like some other spaces, and it's been really hard to chill out.
Yeah, well, I suppose there's a lot of spaces as well. Like they're all like going off about like the David Yu and Metamone interview and all that, and we will get to that as well. But like we'll start off with like the fun stuff first before we get to the more serious stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, so
I'll go back one thing when you were talking about don't talk about digital collecting and all that kind of stuff. The funny part though is that like all my friends, all my family, they know I'm into this, and some of them have come over for sure. But now what's happening, of course, is as Bitcoin is running.
Oh yeah,
I'm getting phone call after text after email. People I see in the gym are coming up to me going, "Hey, like about this, right? Like, how do I get in?" And I said, "Oh, now you want to talk." So I envision the same thing when the bull run starts again and all of these VeVe assets are pumping. Everyone's gonna be like, "Oh man, like why didn't I listen to you?"
You have people in the gym coming up to you. That's crazy.
That's what I was about to say.
I've got a few people that I know, like neighbors and stuff. We all end up in the gym together, and then they've told some of their friends. And sometimes I was on the like a treadmill thingy. This was a few days ago, and I was watching. I think it was Aaron's My Collectable stream. I think it was that one. Anyways, and no, it was the Chad interview with SleepynComics. That was the one. And here's these two guys. There's all these collectibles in the background, and the guy beside me, he's like, "Hey, what are you watching?" He's like, "Oh, this." And he goes, "I collect comic books, and I keep these. Are those comic collectors you're watching?" I'm like, "Well, kind of." He's like, "Oh boy, do I go down this?"
You're just like, "Well, funny you asked that, sir."
Yeah. I said, "Well, they're physical comic collectors, but they now collect digital comics." And he's like, and the first thing he said, like, "You can buy these off Marvel Unlimited now?" Was first thing, right? And I said, "Well, no, it's kind of like that. You can read them, but imagine if you could own them, and if you could buy them on Marvel Unlimited." He says, "Oh, I'd spend a fortune." And so I said, "Okay, well, go home. I'm not going to sell you on this. Do your own research. Right? Just go look up VeVe, and then if you see me in the gym," and he did. He came up to me yesterday. He's like, "I've been looking into this. This is pretty cool. I haven't signed up yet, but I'm watching it." And I said, "Yeah, I did that for 6 months too in the beginning, and I miss buying Marvel Comics 1 at $2. So don't wait too long." So that was it. But it was funny, right? It's like, yeah. So people do see this. That's why I'm not going to get into it yet. I know you want to get into it, but the whole thing about all these crazy things about what happened in this Mona thing. It's like, you know what? It's one person at a time. You get the fans, you get the enthusiasts. They see it because it's fun, and that's it. Right. Here was two guys at a gym talking about it. I thought, wow.
Yeah, which is great because two guys at the gym usually don't talk about much of anything. It's just all like, next set,
Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah, I think people think I'm approachable too, so that's probably why. I'm never scowling, so I'm always smiling at stuff. So I think that's it helps. Plus, I guess the equipment's too close together. I took out of the house. How's he able to see what's on my iPhone 15 screen or whatever I've got, 13? But yeah, that was the funny part.
No, I love it. So I wonder if anyone else has had that kind of experience, like just like being in the gym or being in some kind of public place, and you just be like watching a YouTube video, like it'd be like Comics and Crypto, or maybe My Collectables, or even I see the Max OMI homies down there. Maybe watching one of your videos about like VeVe content or something, and had this stranger come and go, "What's that you're looking at?" And then it's like, "Well, funny you should ask that, sir. This is VeVe," and then do like the whole spiel.
Yeah.
No, very cool. I personally haven't had that experience yet, but I'm hoping maybe one day I will.
It's surprising, like the more people that start to see it, understand it, know that you're passionate about it, it just kind of takes on an arm of its own, right? I'm actually having coffee on I think Wednesday coming up this week with another neighbor of mine. Our boys play hockey together, and he came up and said, "Hey, you know about all this NFT stuff, right?" And I said, "Well, I call them digital assets, by the way." "Oh, yeah, digital assets. That sounds even better." It's like, I was wondering if I could buy you coffee and you could just tell me how this world works. And I remember thinking I was going to buy into some Bitcoin back when it was 10 grand, and now I'm a little angry. And it's like, yeah. Don't worry, I said, it's going to run up to 70, 75, and it's going to come back down to 40 like it always does. And then you'll be able to get in. And then I won't be able to tell you you're early anymore, because when it hits, 6 digits, it's not coming back from
absolutely
there.
not. So, well, just out of
so
I was say just out of curiosity for everybody who's listening right now, I'm just looking at coin market cap, and right now Bitcoin is sitting at 62,794.
Jeez.
So it seems to be.
I find it so interesting that people are coming up to you in the gym about that, because I like, at least my experience this time around is I don't hear nearly as many people talking about crypto as they were back in 2020 when when like altcoins and Bitcoin were rising. And to be honest, I was actually surprised when I found out Bitcoin was at 60, because it creeped up on me. I didn't even know it was that high yet. I thought it was still down in like the 30s, 40s or whatever, right?
Yeah. I wonder too, though, like I go to a community center gym. Like I'm in my 50s now, so I don't go to the hardcore, just pumping my head.
Don't go and lift.
Get to the chopper. But it's friendly in there. And I think the average age in that gym is probably like late 30s to 60s kind of thing. And so it seems to be gaining more awareness. These are a lot of people in there that, they talk about trading and finances and, what are you doing with your future value and your inheritance and all that. So maybe it's a little bit of a different crowd, and that narrative is changing. And the other thing too, and I know I've mentioned this, I think, to Hinano a couple of times, right? We've had spot ETF, Bitcoin and Ethereum for 3 years now in Canada, and nobody knew what the hell it meant. But there's a company called Purpose Investments that was basically first in Canada to come out of the gates, got this thing set up. This was before Grayscale ever even thought about making an application in the US. And boy, I saw it. And so in Canada, we have something a little unique. I don't know if they have this in Europe or in the States, but we have what's called a tax-free savings account, TFSA. And it's like a retirement fund. It's capped in how much you can contribute per year. It's like a max of, say, $12,000, $1,000 a month. But anything that grows in that account grows tax-free. Right. So if I bought $1,000 of Bitcoin 3 years ago, and that's suddenly $1 million, and I decide to withdraw that,
tax-free.
There's no tax paid on it. It is an enormously wonderful gift. The second option, because it's in these ETFs, in Canada, they're paying dividends. And some months the yields are 18, 19%.
Nice.
And so I've just been reattributed. Every time I get paid, it goes back in. So those are the kinds of questions, Josh, that start getting asked in, like, when these guys are coming up to me in the gym. It's like, how are you buying this Bitcoin? What are you doing? Because it's still scary for people that don't know how to manipulate a crypto exchange or change their currency. And so here it's just, you're contributing it from a direct deposit, comes right out of your bank into the account. You can, set up your monthly withdrawal, so it's continuously going in. It's like any retirement plan. So that makes it really easy. And then when I see what's going on in the States now, it's like such a big deal. Like, oh yeah, there's 12 of them now. And it's from my perspective, it's kind of like when I think VeVe, 3 years ago, everybody was like, what the hell is this? No one's going to do this. This is crazy, blah, blah, blah. And look at it now.
Yeah.
And so I know the ETF industry is going to just pummel the investors in the US markets that were hesitant, waiting. And that's why now, like, what are you seeing? Like $10 million a day is outflowing from traditional stock investment into ETFs for Bitcoin, and Ethereum's next, right?
Yeah, well, that's the speculation. Like,
we know if Canada's got them, who the heck is Canada in the grand scheme of the financial world, right? And so you know they're coming, and so I see the same thing when I compare the two. We were 2-3 years ahead of the game, and here now, of course, I'm up 6x on these investments because the valuation of the ETF in Canada is exploding because of the popularity of everyone talking about it in the States. And so that narrative permeates into all things digital. It's just, I tell people this, I've worked in digital media for 25 years now. I still have customers ask me, well, I built my website back in 98, isn't it fine?
You're just like, no.
Yeah. This is not like buying an antique car and hoping it keeps appreciating in value the older it gets, right? It's falling apart fast. And so, but that's the narrative that I'm always involved in. And that's where I think a lot of people at my gym know that it's been my kind of career, right? And so we have these chats, but to me, it's exciting because, hey, you know what? It's one more person that's interested. It's a neighbor who wants to take me for coffee and talk about it. So I'm just one guy telling one other guy. And that's how it grows.
Yeah.
Because I always say that. Remember the old Vidal Sassoon commercial, right? You tell two friends and she'll tell two friends and so on and so on. And then the screen just grew in the number of people that suddenly knew about this shampoo, right? That's the model. That's exactly how it works. Right?
The VeVe shampoo, the shampoo of VeVe.
Yeah.
Alex and I are bald. We don't know what shampoo is.
Oh, mate, it's been a long time since shampoo or conditioner. I save an absolute portion on barbers trips and stuff like that. I can't remember the last time I actually went to sat in a barber's chair.
Same here, man.
Wasn't there a Simpsons once? He went and got his hair cut and just snipped the 3 hairs on his head down a little bit. Like, good. Don't trim that too deep. No,
actually, that's right. I take that back. The last time I was actually in a barber's chair, I actually had a Turkish wet shave done on my head. Now that was actually really cool.
What's that look like?
Basically, it's like with the old school like razor blades. The ones that you can literally cut someone's throat with.
Oh right.
Yeah. I actually had one of them done. Cool. I had one of them done over my head, and it was. Oh mate, it is the most unbelievable feeling you'll ever have. It's like you'll never have that level of smoothness in your entire life. I swear to God. And anyone out there, if you have the opportunity to get a Turkish wet shave, whether on your face or your head, completely up to you, or anywhere else, say I don't judge. Go for it because you'll just feel unbelievable. It is the most cleansing feeling you'll ever have.
That's cool.
So that's a great start to our space. We've gone from comic books to wet shaves to guys talking to you in the gym. That's what I love about these spaces, because we can just go all over the place. It's never the same space twice. And I want to say a big thank you I can see some more familiar faces coming in with us. I see Sleepin. Say thanks for dropping in, mate. Hope all's been good with you. Great interview you had with Chad on his channel as well. Really, really good. And I highly encourage anyone to go check that out over on NFT Pirates with Sleepin. So really, really good interview. I see DoktaStrange. Always a pleasure to have you in the house, mate. I hope you've been keeping well. I see also I see Orange Bag Lady. Wow, thank you for joining us. We've got Nino Blue. I see Dutch homies with us. I see Nos. I hope all's good with you. So Nos has just had the arrival of a new one to their family. So congratulations to you, sir. Hopefully the little one's treating you well. Also see D lurking in the back there as well. I'm sure munching on something. And yeah, just a big thank you to everybody for taking the time to come and chill in the space. I know there's a lot going on in the spaces at the moment. Right, what is on my talking points? Oh, so this is another very big important one. We've got our next WebV Live coming up soon. So we're going to try and schedule it in for the 24th of February. And basically what that is basically just it's more or less just us doing what we're doing now, but we're doing it live on YouTube. So we basically get together, have a good roundtable discussion about VeVe collecting. We share our collections. D and myself normally do some reaction videos when it comes to food. So last time we did some wasabi peas and a few other fun Hawaiian type foods. Very, very cool. And I do have a few things in the pipeline to sort of throw on the back of that. So that'll be coming on the 24th of February. So that'll be on a Sunday as well. So stay tuned for more details. And yeah, so there's that one there. Well, I suppose we could get straight into the big juicy topic of the space at the moment, the Metamona interview. So that seems to be going off all over the place. Everyone seems to have an opinion left, right, and center about that. So how does everybody feel about that? And just bear in mind, this is a safe space. So as long as there's no like downright nastiness and being horrible, everyone's open to their opinion. So I welcome everyone to share their points of view on it. And yeah, that's my little bit.
Yeah, speaking of that, I'm actually curious just because we have Chris up on the panel. I know, Chris, you're not always too vocal about this stuff, but I'm curious, what's your perspective on this whole interview that took place?
Interesting is probably the best word. Like, I mean, I come from media, marketing, advertising. I work for a company that does public relations, for a living, right? And so, is David the best polished CEO? No. Is he one of the most passionate and knowledgeable I've ever met? Without question.
Mm-hmm.
And so, am I willing to say, hey, he stumbled on a couple of questions? Maybe, I don't even know, maybe it was 4 a.m. when he was. So the reality is you don't get away from the fact she was harder on him than Will. And I don't want to say Will got like a hall pass just to have a nice interview and talk about all the great things, but the way she set up her questions were obviously meant to unravel him a little bit. Now that's journalism. And so I take that with a grain of salt, because any journalist's job is to try and either make you look bad, make you stumble, or create some kind of firestorm that keeps everybody talking about it. Because at the end of the day, love her or hate her, more people are talking about Metamona right now than probably were last week. And so this is good for her brand, right? Oh, here's a journalist that obviously set a fire somewhere. How'd she do this? And so you might be more likely to watch her next one and her next one. And so, I mean, I lived through that career. I eventually got tired of it and, quit that job to move on to something else. But back when I was in media and newspaper publishing, right, that was the job of the journalist, was to unravel you, right? And if you've ever, there's not many around these days, right? But if you ever look at a newspaper, right, the headlines are always negative. There is nothing positive. Right. And so we live in a world of clickbait, headline fraud, and, real anarchy is the driving narrative. But when you uncover everything, so what happens 2 days later? VeVe drops the Avengers Mighties, they sell out. The aftermarket, the rates are pretty close to floor. There's a couple, right, that, you know, not the FAs and whatnot. People are putting out sets. People are showing this off on social medias like crazy. And VeVe's probably netted, you know, $200,000-$300,000 in the past couple hours. So I look at it that way, and I say, I think the focus on this argument that she tripped him up, it's born out of the passion of our community, right? We just really love it when things are going great and when we hear really positive stories, and the negative stuff is harder to take. And I think that's what lights this type of stuff up. But, you know, at the end of the day, I just look at it like we've only been around 2.5, 3 years, and look how far this company has come. Look at the brands that are connected to it, the IP that's connected to it. Look at the list of people that are on this stream,
exactly,
Alex, that want to hear and talk about this. To me, you want to talk about running a business. I've helped probably 500-600 businesses in my career, helped them grow. Some of them didn't make it. The one thing that's been consistent about every company that does make it, they have a loyal following. They have customers that love them, trust them, believe in them, and buy from them. That's how business works. And so whether you want to hide from that or not, that's the reality. And VeVe is a business that works. Every other company in the digital collectible space is modeling themselves off of VeVe. It's the fastest horse in the race, right? And so when you go back and you look at the world of e-commerce, right? Everything modeled Amazon. In directories, everything models Google.
Yep.
In content, everything modeled Yahoo. There's always a winner. There's always a leader in the space. And that to me is, you know, I just think, hopefully, knock on wood, not financial advice, as we always say, right, Alex?
Exactly,
but,
yeah.
You know, to me, VeVe's the fastest horse. It's the strongest play in the industry. It's the one that everybody is sort of competing against. And Will's comments were testament to that. Right? Every time he was asked a hard question, hey, I love what David's doing. Hey, David gets this, right? Once you tried to trip him up and say, yeah, but I don't understand your business model. Like, are you not trying to bring physical collectors in and whatnot? What did Will respond with? David's one of the strongest physical collectors I've ever come across. He's half the reason I built my business. Wow. Talk about that. Like, why do we focus so much on the negative? It's because popular media trains us to be negative. And so it's everything in my power. Every single day, I try to be the opposite of what I read and what I hear. And when I hear the negative and I hear that side of it, to me, there's a narrative that's trying to be brought out or pushed out and, you know, shoved down the positive things that are going on. And so I don't have time for it. At the end of the day, I'm collecting digital comic books. These are toys. This is fun. This is supposed to be fun. This is my Hinano, right? Nostalgia respark. This is what brought me back into collecting. I had 25 something years. I haven't bought a single thing that had anything to do with collecting, right? And all of a sudden now I've diverted some of my regular fiat investments into this. The money that was going into my kids' sports, now that they've grown up, is now going into this. I'm having a blast. I'm connected to an incredible group of tens of thousands of people that share this passion. And I tell you, we've said this so many times. I think of so many of you as my friends that I've grown up with, because you're growing up in this experience with me. And how do you replicate that? How do you say there's no value there? How do you try and unravel somebody that's doing that for someone like me? To me, that's the bigger question. Why are you doing it?
With that part.
So
sorry, Oz, did you want to say something?
Yeah.
No, I was about to say, like, you know, out of all that, I'm going to give you one of these. Because that just like basically hit the nail on the head there, like, you know. But you're right, like, you know, I'm the exact same thing. Like, you know, VeVe's done more or less the same, like, for you as it's done for me as well. Like, you know, I hadn't collected anything since I moved, like, you know, from Western Australia to here in England, like, you know, and then all of a sudden I get back into VeVe and I find myself, like, you know, actually like looking in collector shops now, like looking for physical things and like looking around on the app and like spending money sometimes that I should be spending, don't tell the missus, on stuff like, you know, that but that little bit of nostalgia for me as well. And it's great. And also, like, it was the whole inspiration behind, like, creating these spaces and the VeVe and helping create the VeVe collective group is to help connect with all these, like, amazing people and now we can connect with all over the world. And it's amazing. It's a great thing.
It is amazing. It is absolutely amazing. Right. I mean, Facebook managed to accomplish it in several years, and Instagram was faster, and like the pace of how we adopt. But that's such a big point, Alex, because it's not like this is just contained to one market, one space, one collecting. It's comic book collectors, it's poster collectors, it's VHS and movie collectors and buffs, and I mean, go on and on and on down the list. Right, there is something here for everybody.
Exactly. And also, like, you're seeing, like, people like
the low edition.
And I also see, like, when other people post their collections on X-Space and stuff like that, like, some of the stuff, like, for example, just looking in the chat here, I see, like, some of the stuff that, like, I see Sleeping post on his post, or even Biscuits, like, so some of their collections are amazing. Like, some of the pieces they have are great, and just seeing, like, and being able to connect with that kind of community is also another next level thing as well. Also, as well, I can see Miss Gecko listening in the background as well. A big shout out to you as well for actually moderating that interview with Metamona with Poof. I was actually part of that live stream. I could see all the comments and everyone flooding in with, like, it was literally just like a never ending sea of comments and questions and stuff. And there must have been, like, a lot to go through. So a big shout out and congratulations to you and Poof for putting that all together. But Josh, did you have a question there, mate? I thought you had your hand up there.
Follow-up question for you guys, because I keep hearing people in the community say tough questions were asked, and I got to be honest with you guys. What tough questions were asked?
That's a great question in itself, Josh, because I mean, they were, the narrative was antagonistic more to David, as I said, but they weren't, like, there was nothing damaging. There was nothing that said, oh, this company's in trouble. What are you doing to stop the bleeding? All these types of things. They were just toned differently. And I think if David was kind of going along, listening to, Will and having these nice conversations, then all of a sudden he gets hit with a hard one. He just stumbled. And most of the time he answered great questions, and he had stuff that came back. And my question probably to that would be, who was ultimately the audience that this was addressed for? Because that would be more indicative of the types of questions. If this was meant to be closer to the old AMAs we used to have, and like, what's going on, and tell us what's happening and the plans and all that, if that was to the existing audience, great. If this was spelled out to new audiences, right? Hey, if you've been thinking about this space and you want to get involved, right, then I could see that being a little more damaging, because suddenly it's like, oh, well, why would I choose VeVe, right? They don't seem to have a roadmap in place, right? Now, to those of us that have been here from the beginning, we know full well there's a very clear roadmap. We know they've done hundreds of things,
and we also know how far the platform's actually come since the beginning as well.
So that brings me to another talking point, because I find that interesting because there's a big talking point about how she asked the question around I'm not fully 100% sure what your business model is. I'm on the fence about that question, because what you guys were just saying, we've been here since day one. We've seen the business model from day one. It's changed. But we're also very close to the business. We're very close to the collectibles. We're very close to the business model. We're very close to the team. And for somebody who isn't necessarily as close, they might not see the business model as easily, right? But my biggest thing was the Fidgetals question. I can't wrap my head around why that was asked. And I would love your guys' opinion on this. I've heard some other people discuss it. I don't want to go in circles here, but I mean, I don't know how you can sit down face to face with the CEO of a company who's not only leading the space, but has, I'm already on two hands just thinking off the top of my head what Fidgetals are available with VeVe, right? And you ask the question, what are you doing to get physical collectors involved. What are you doing to merge the physical and digital? It's like, what aren't they doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, you got a Funko physical, you got the Addiction, you got the Spider-Man comic, you got the Mac on deck, London Police. Like, I can keep like 007 ticket from way back when. That's not even including the PGC partnership, which I would probably argue is the biggest thing out of everything that I just said there. Right? So how, like, I just don't understand how you can start an interview off saying that I looked into the business model. Well, okay, let me back up there, because looking at the business model is different than looking at the history of the business. And I think that's where the biggest thing was. You can look at the business model and go, okay, I think I understand it, but how much have you actually looked into the history of the business? And if she did that, she would have known about all this stuff.
Okay, so you sort of say like kind of like looking at it like in the like you got like one view, like sort of looking at like say like numbers on a spreadsheet type thing, but not looking back like, you know, the sort of like, you know, what's happened like in the history type thing. That's kind of what you mean.
Yeah, well, I think maybe just going back to the like question about like what tough questions were asked. In my opinion, I don't think any tough questions were asked. I think,
same.
Yeah, I think a lot of questions were asked that we already had the answers to, but she didn't have the answer to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, interesting. Also, as well, if anyone's listening out there in the audience and wants to come up and say a few things or want to contribute to the conversation, you're more than welcome to. So, but if you want to just sit there and chill in the background as well, that's totally cool as well. Just want to say it is a safe space, and we do welcome everybody up to the stage. But yeah, I don't know. I think. Well, yeah, Sven, what you got, bud?
Yeah, like if Collectors Gone Digital, if you talk about the phygital things, maybe David, you could just say the things you say. So yeah, we already had the ink stories and the other ones. So we're really into phygital things, and that would give a solution to the problems of the community.
Yeah, so I would agree with what you say there, but David did also list off several of those collectibles in the interview afterwards. That was his answer, right? So I can't recall exactly step for step what happened, but I'm pretty sure it was like one of those but situations, and then kept pushing, you know, back at the original question. That's what Mona did. So like those answers were given, and then it goes back to like what we were just talking about again, where I think it was Chris that mentioned it, where it almost seemed like VeVe got the shorter stick, I guess, if that makes sense. Just because a lot of questions, and I don't want this to appear as if like I'm coming at Mona, but at the same time, it's like, this is how the interview appeared. But like, there was a lot of questions asked that were completely and fully applicable to Cryptoys, but there was only an answer given from one CEO. Right.
Okay.
And in fact, actually, a fantastic example is the way she ended the interview, like asking David, like, "Can you take a moment? Our community needs to hear from you." Like, I'm sorry, that's bogus. Like, you got a you have a CEO of a company whose marketplace has been pending for how long, and an audience that's been questioning them about the steps that that they're taking. You have an audience that's impatient about that marketplace, but you don't address that. That's the part that I'm confused about. So, Chris, going back to what you were saying about how, like, as a news reporter, as an anchor, your job is to get that story, right? Like, get the fire going, right? I don't fully think that the fire that was lit from this interview was intentional. I think it was. I think she went into the interview asking the questions, thinking they were good questions, but it's the interviewer that got burned after the fact, not the person being interviewed.
Yeah. That happens a lot though, right? Because as a journalist, you've got your date set, you know who's coming. You have a relative pulse. It's not like she hasn't been involved in like X. I see her in the feeds all the time, all that kind of stuff. You got a good idea how things are going. And so you have a list of prepared questions, and it happens all the time, right? The conversation ends up going in a completely different direction, or the questions aren't answered in the way that you're hoping they will be, which impacts the narrative of your own flow of how you want an interview to go. And sometimes, yeah, it's easy to then say, well, I've got some little, issues going on here that we can maybe dive a bit deeper into, and then you kind of forget your path. But I don't know, like I go back to your point earlier, like it wasn't like there was super hellfire questions being thrown out. Like they were relatively general. There was a couple of missteps. I mean, I didn't walk away from it thinking, oh boy, that was horrible. I'm still kind of surprised to see the amount of negativity and commentary on, on socials and stuff. I'm like, just to me, it just wasn't that bad. There was nothing in there that said you shouldn't participate or be enthused about this. The physical side, yeah, I mean, do we want more physical collectors coming over? Yes. Is that going to happen quickly? No. Why? Because I'm a physical collector. And if anything, this is a threat to that. And so it's no different than I've talked about, written about in blogs and whatnot. I mean, you go back to the early days of Amazon. I'll use the example again, right? Companies, I don't know who they were exactly, but say Barnes and Noble trying to sue Amazon for selling books online because it was immoral and it was going to put thousands of bookstores out of business and nobody would read physical books anymore. And so the arguments were always, do you understand how cool it is to have a book in your hand and put your light on and have your coffee and like this? They would sell the experience.
Yeah.
Right. And so
nice.
Today, what came of Amazon? We have more books, more writers, more blogs, more experiences, more ways of enjoying. That's all that happens, right? Technology just supports the ideal. And so it's going to happen. So was the question posed right perfectly? Probably not. I mean, it's still part of the conversation, but I mean, to me, yeah, again, you're right, Josh. VeVe's doing everything they can, right? One-to-one artists, collectibles, Funkos. It's named out of my head right now. Patrick Stewart, those 3D
Hughes,
art images.
Yeah, Patrick Hughes.
Sorry, Patrick Stewart. Star Trek showing.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, that stuff is it's real. And it's compelling. And it goes right back to my chat about people, friends and neighbors taking me for coffee to ask me about this stuff. Nobody thought it was real before. And now you can't deny it's real. And what makes it real? There's a lot of money moving through this right now. And whether a small drop on an insignificant character doesn't sell out, the reality is when VeVe drops something like they did today and they sell $250,000 in like half an hour, that's real money. Yeah. And that's real money that didn't go somewhere else. And so to me, it just goes right back to the same narrative. This is a successful company. People are going to try and chip away at it any way they can and use that to amplify what they want to do next. Right? Wait, what great marketing is this for Mona when she's got another CEO interview coming up? I can't remember when it is, but right, it keeps her top of mind. Any good journalist needs to find a way to stay top of mind. Otherwise, people don't read the journalism.
Yeah, makes sense.
So that's kind of, to me, that's part of it. And it's why I don't, I mean, it's fun. I read all this stuff. I'm like, oh, a couple of titles, right? It's like, but it's part of it's just like being back when you're adolescent, right? Your joints don't work properly, your knees bobble, you get acne, everything's wrong, you don't fit in, oh my God. And then all of a sudden you come out of it, right? And we're just kind of in that adolescent phase right now where there's so much happening, there's so much going on, it's so new, it's on the radar of everybody, right? I mean, I watch guys like Swaggle House, right? There is a physical comic collector as you'll ever see. Sleepin is another great example. These guys know their stuff, yet they're also watching and participating in what's happening here. That crossover is happening, but these types of interviews, sometimes you need to have a little bit of shock value because it keeps
people engaged. That's right.
It keeps you engaged, right? So to me, that's I take the excitement side of it. I'm like, this is earned media value, is what the technical term is. This is free marketing for everybody that's involved. And so how do you get free marketing, right? Without having to pay for it, you create a little bit of a hellstorm and that keeps the narrative going. And mean, look at, if you go back, like what's the exciting things that happen in VeVe where everybody has these types of conversations? It's not usually the really great things, right? We see a great drop, it sells out, a couple of days go by and then it dies out. The things that keep those fires burning are the missed deadlines, this messed up interview. Somebody didn't do this right. Like, you can come up with them, and you talk about it more often.
Right, the controversies,
and so exactly that's what's happening, right? And I like it. For me, at the end of the day, I'm a collector. Yes. Am I an investor? Yes. Do the two of them go hand in hand? Yes. Am I worried that if I made a mistake with this company? No. Right. So to me, it's like I'm all in, but because I'm having such a great time with it. And to me, it's spellbounding. To your point earlier, Alex, how this has connected so many people across so many genres, geographies. It's just, that's the statement. That's, at the end of the day, if you don't understand what VeVe's business model is, it's in their name, VeVe Digital Collectibles. It's that simple, right? Now, there's going to be all kinds of things. Cryptoys is a great example. They have a narrative that's running on digital collectibles, but they're more toy focused. DC Candy, they've got their thing. We've got Topps NFTs for card collectors. We've got Disney Pinnacle for people that like pins. Like, they're all digital collectibles. They're just different types, right? There's Marvel, there's DC. Some people are DC fans, would never buy a Marvel comic. I'm more Marvel, don't buy too many DC.
Same. Yeah, same.
But they're still comic books.
Yeah, exactly.
So the category is comic books. Within comic books, you've got all kinds of different breakdowns. And so sometimes maybe an interviewer that's got the president of DC and the president of Marvel, they're two different companies with two different goals and aims and audiences. You may ask one CEO a question that's offensive or problematic to the other because they don't completely align. But I don't know. And it's also, I would say, it from a journalism standpoint, it can be tough to say, okay, well, that's your answer, David. Great. Now, Will, what's yours? So you don't often want to have the two answer the exact same questions all the time, because that's not really a great narrative when you're conducting an interview. You want to have some differentiation, right? So it's kind of my take on this whole thing. But.
Yeah, no, well, thank you, Chris, for sharing that. That's an amazing point of view. That's fantastic. Sorry, Doctor Sleeping. Sorry to keep you guys waiting. I know you guys had your hands raised up for so long. I really did want to Chris to stop because it's just laying down some big alpha. But I think Doctor was first. Doctor, how are you, mate? How's things?
I'm hanging in there, man. Shout out to everybody in the space. You know what I'm saying? Just want to get in here real quick for my arm fall out the socket. You know what I mean? Just add my little 2 pennies.
Yeah, go on.
I was just saying, it's always a difference between like what you expect and then what you get, right? So it's like, as a person that as of late has gotten into interviewing people, I've interviewed people in the past with different mediums like radio and stuff like that. But I will say that, there is an adjustment that you have to make when you go from thinking you're going to be interviewing 3 people to all of a sudden one person drops out. And when it kind of takes, not to say you can't have a round table with 2 people, but it kind of works better when you got like 3 or more. So I was wondering why, because the thing is I caught the stream like maybe the last half an hour of it. I wasn't sure how much I missed by the time I hopped in. So the first thing I noticed was there was still 3 other people there. I just assumed our third guy there was part of Pudgy Penguins. I guess he wasn't. So I'm just trying to absorb it, and I noticed it was more like an interview type of thing. So that just threw me off as far as what I was expecting versus what I got. So I'm wondering how much of, the Pudgy Penguins guy not being part of it might have thrown off the whole format she prepared for. At the same time, the way I also went into it, perceiving it was like, we know who our core people are, especially through like Twitter. We know who's been around for how long, who's kind of came along lately. for me, just from my perspective, I came across her through like Jay East, Miss Gecko, or Millie T's spaces.
Same.
More from like, right. So like I knew of her, you know, I did a little, not real research on her or anything, but I thought she was from like MSNBC or some shit. Like I didn't know where she was from.
Same. I had the exact same thing.
Right. She gave me like, you know, MSNBC vibes. So I was like, all right, that's cool that the way I perceived it was like someone from outside of our space somehow stumbled upon this. I'm assuming through Twitter, and they're here now, and they got a, you know, little background or whatever they have. Cool. And then eventually I was on a space where she was co-hosting it. I was interviewed, Ms. G, you know, J.E.'s, Mainzy. And I was like, all right, so she's in tune with hip hop. That's cool too. I never looked at her as somebody that knew VeVe inside and out. I looked at her as someone new. Like, the way I look at certain people on Twitter is like, I just look at their name. So if they have like a .ETH in their name, then I just automatically assume they're like a crypto guru. They know what's going on with the latest stuff and all of that world. If I see meta in your name, then I kind of assume you're in tune with like the metaverse. If I see that red O in your name, I either assume you invested in OMI or you're doing it out of solidarity of being part of the project just overall.
Yep.
So certain assumptions I just make when I see people in our spaces that I can't identify right away as a VeVe person. So I looked at her as a new person. Now that on top of that, she's a person that comes with her own core followers. I think she got like 4K followers on here. I have no idea how many followers she has on YouTube. So my perspective is like, as a person that has a channel, like from what I perceive her to be and her channel to be, I would think that her audience is more of a metaverse type of audience, just an assumption. So I would think her approach to the interview would have kind of been bland for people like us. And that's, you know, well immersed in the space and experience and have had ups and downs throughout the years with the project. So I was expecting her to ask fundamental type of questions, almost like, you know, she has no idea, even at, you know, just for the sake of her own audience. Because I was thinking, okay, let's just assume she has 4,000 subscribers and they're not VeVe subscribers. I would think she's trying to kind of introduce them to these projects as well. But then when you look at the actual questions asked, it wasn't done that way. So it was like just confusing overall, but you know what I mean? And I think it's just a big gap between maybe what she wanted to do and what actually happened. You got to understand too, like people are seasoned and all of that good stuff. But, you know, after it was over, like she was in the spaces saying how nervous she was and stuff like that. And like me, I normally don't get nervous no matter who I'm talking to, but there are certain times when you're thrown off because you think you're prepared for a certain thing. And then when things kind of switch up, all of that comfortability you had is out the window because now you're kind of freestyling it. You know what I mean? So I don't know if that was the situation with her, but it's a lot to keep in mind when you're on the other end of it, trying to execute. That's all I can say.
Yeah, no worries. No, thanks for that, Doctor. Sleepin, sorry, mate, you've had your hand up for ages. Sorry to keep you waiting. Also, thank you for dropping into the space. And great to have you. Oh, also, before I forget, that Stargate comic that you had on X looks awesome. Love that cover.
Yeah, it's the first. There's a special edition one too. If you're interested, hit me up. They're hard to find, but you know, got to get those things locked away when you can find them. But anyways, no, I think, and thanks for the space. You know, I love you guys so much. I wish I could get in more. I'm useless. I can't. I want to support everybody. I'm trying, and you know it's tough. But either way, love all you guys. Doing a great job, and I love it. You know everything. My only comment on it is, you know, and I guess it's just my life and whatever is. I just respect people that are trying to do something, and anything you try and do in my mind is creative, you know. And obviously, what you're doing right here, Oz, or a lot of the people I see up here, Chris, Doctor, you know, all you guys, D, you guys are doing, and me, I try to do something creative. You see me, obviously, my channel, and you guys don't know other things I do in my life, but yeah, I'm trying to do stuff, and so what I see with with the interview with Mona, and you could go in there and nitpick. You can go look at my videos. I mean, half the time I'm doing the math wrong. I'm picking my nose. We're all the things going in and out of focus. I'm banging on the desk, whatever. It's, and so I'm just, I understand the criticism. I always take criticism. I'm open to criticism. But my overall sentiment towards that interview was she was trying to get some answers the way she wanted to do it. This is her channel. She runs the show. Mm-hmm. If she wants to ask the one guy one questions and the other guy no questions, that's fine. It's her channel. She does whatever she wants. And so I support that. Now I get, this and that. Once again, I think all those criticisms, I was listening where maybe she didn't do research here, or maybe this is this, or maybe her tone. I agree with that as well. You can criticize. It's all fair game. When you do something creative, when you do something in the world as art, you better be ready for the criticism. And then the last thing I'd say, so that's the way I look at it. We can dig in any one element. It's her channel. She should run the show. And we obviously, as the audience, we get to run our own show, have our own thoughts on it. But I do think that, we're all super passionate, and that's what gives us that's like our superpower, right? And so whatever feelings you have, hate, love, whatever, I think it's good. It's all good. And that's what creates what we are. And so that's my take. I messaged her after the interview. I don't know her well. I've messaged her, maybe message back and forth, 5-10 times, something like that. And I said, good job. And I know a lot of people did not think it was a good job. But you know what? I will support her creative endeavors, just like other people have supported my creative endeavors. And then the other thing I would say from a hard-hitting tough, I can't remember who said. I think Collectors Gone Digital said something like, "Where was the tough questions?" And I agree with you 100%. Yeah. I don't think any of those questions were tough. This guy's the CEO of a $100 million company. I mean, and people know some of my background. Those are not tough questions. Those are easy questions. Maybe David was tired or something like that. Like I think Chris mentioned, which I think is very possible, right? None of those are tough questions for that guy. You want to see tough questions, you should come to my board meeting. You should come to when, we raise money with VCs or other things. Then you get some tough questions. Yeah, and you get people that are not necessarily very nice. But I think it was fine. I think it's fun. Whatever Chris said was exactly right. It's fun. We're talking about it. It's entertaining. Gets us all riled up. It's great. I love it.
Yeah, true that. Love it. But yeah, so I'm just going through a couple of the comments we got here. Actually, Double Quill put up a good one as well, saying don't forget Penguins was supposed to be there too. So here's a question: do you think if Luca from Pudgy Penguins was part of the conversation, do you think that might have made a difference at all? Whether just going back to the conversation we're having about physicals.
Well, are you talking about just the interview in general, or more beneficial for VeVe?
Yeah, because obviously Pudgy Penguins is attacking things more from the physical side of things. Funny enough, I actually I bought my kids some Pudgy Penguins for Christmas. I think go on.
To be, and this is just my opinion, I don't think the interview would have gone much different. Maybe in the way that she interviewed herself, sure. But I don't think the outcome of the interview would have been much different if that CEO was there. And I even saw people commenting in the chat as it was starting, being like, "Where are all the Pudgy fans?" Right? So I mean, if it's an interview that's being promoted a couple months in advance, and their fan base was expecting their CEO to be on the call, none of them's there. That's one thing to consider. Two, the phygital question. I mean, sure, because they have phygitals and they have the merchandise in Walmart. But I think I would just go back to what I was saying before, where when these questions were asked, it was almost like she was drilling it into David, but not into Will. So, and correct me if I'm wrong here. I don't know if I'm remembering this right, but when she asked that phygitals question, it was more to David and not really to Will. I know Will did comment on some of the stuff that they had made with their own IP, but again, I think it was in his response to defend David. So I don't even know if that question was there to, ask Pudgy Penguins people to begin with, or if it was just for V. I don't know, but either way, in my opinion, I don't think the outcome would have been much different.
Yeah, no worries. Sorry, D. I just realized you had your hand risen for a while. First of all, hello, how are you? And do you had something you wanted to chime in?
Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep mine a little short, I think. Just a few points. So first of all, my question was, where was Pudgy Penguin? And second, I feel like so many people, we as humans are emotional people.
True.
And that like drives us to react and talk about someone a certain way at certain times. Having said that, there's been like 2 days of spaces that I've been tuning into, and maybe I've missed it or not, but I have not seen Mona on any of these spaces. So if we're asking all these questions without her being there, how are we supposed to be getting these answers? If we really want to know,
ask her.
She should come on. And then we can question instead of speculating why she did what she did on her channel. That's all.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point. Like, no, that's it. Like, if everyone's got the hard-hitting questions, they should we should have try and get her answered directly. So she got actually a chance to sort of answer some of these questions, defend herself, or do whatever we feel needs to be done. But Hinano, you got something you want to chime in with as well, mate?
Yeah, well, I got to run actually, guys. So first off, thanks for the space. Really appreciate
no worries.
Good conversation. Secondly, 100% what my wife said. In fact, I don't know how I can follow past that, but I really believe Mona is not the first that's going to come. We're going to have more meta Monas coming into this space because of what is happening in the uptrend of crypto. So I think for what happened with that interview, perception's reality. However you perceived the outcome of that interview, that's you. I may not have perceived it the same way, and I don't. I agree with Collectors Gone Digital. I think the questions were not hard at all. I also agree with Sleepin'. And D and I, if you guys already know us, we support everyone. And so someone new coming to this space, especially for a broadcast journalist, I think that's good for the space. We may not have liked what she said. And like I said, I won't talk about her unless she's here. In fact, I really wish she was here. But there's going to be more of her coming. There's going to be more content creators coming. There's going to be a lot of people that don't know VeVe that's going to be saying crap that we're not going to like. And I think we just got to be prepared for that. And whatever happens, I think, maybe we got to be a little bit more open-minded to their criticisms or their take on the project. Mona's not going to be last, and I like Mona very much. So I do agree. Some of the questions were definitely one-sided. My opinion, but it's how it happened. So anyways, that's all I wanted to say. And you guys have a great day because we're going to go spend time as a family today. So
nice.
Thanks for the space.
So what's on the agenda today? So hit the comic book shop, hit the beach.
No, we're going to go shopping and then head to the south side of the island. We're just going to go hang out as a family today.
Nice. Oh, enjoy the rest of your day, mate. So and tell the kid I said hi.
Hinano, that sounds so nice. We're just gonna go hang out at the south side of the island.
so casual.
Kudos to you, my
Love
friend.
It. The south side of the island is where the airport's at. Whenever you guys are ready, call me. I'll pick you up.
Hey, I just came up here to say hi to D and Hinano, so hopefully I don't miss you guys, but I love you guys.
Oh, what's up, Tony?
Oh man, to you too, Tony.
Yeah, Tony, thanks for dropping in, mate. Sorry, I was going to get to you. But yeah. Thanks for dropping in the space, Tony. Glad you managed to pull yourself away from the Apple Vision Pro. So I've seen a lot of the cool stuff you've been posting on X about it. Very, very cool.
Hey, thanks. Yeah, I've been doing some other stuff in Apple Vision Pro that I guess we're not allowed to fully talk about, but it's exciting stuff. It's exciting stuff. So yeah, hopefully we'll get to share more of that soon. But yeah, I've been in a few spaces today and a lot of conversations about, I'll just call it the interview.
Yeah, it's like talk of the town.
And and honestly, I do hope there are more, let's just call them metamonas, meaning people who aren't as close to this space, coming in and channeling certain questions. And I also agree with, I happened to come in right when Sleepin was talking, and 100% agree with what he said there. I didn't think any of those questions were, really, really, really tough. I think they were opportunities. Like I went back and rewatched the whole thing about physical or phygital, and the way that was framed, I think that was a great opportunity for both of them to talk about, like, what is the relationship between physical collecting and digital collecting? Do you look to transition people from physical to digital? Does phygital, the merging of the two, have a role? And that's how I think she intended the question to come across. And at the end, she did say, hey, I think this is a question for you, Will, right? And Will started talking. But I think it was a great opportunity for both of them. And I don't necessarily feel like it's all about having somebody who knows the space, asking questions from a fully informed point of view, because part of what I hope we're all trying to do here is create forums where maybe people who don't know everything are learning, or maybe some people standing 10 feet back say, yeah, what is that about? Right. I like collecting comic books and that, but what do they mean by these digital things? And what is a phygital? Right. So I think somebody asking the question or channeling the question the way that was done, I didn't respond in my mind thinking, well, this person should know more. I responded more from, yeah, this person's channeling what I bet a lot of, quote, normal people might wonder about in our space. So I may have a little different point of view than others, but yeah, that's how I saw it.
No, it's cool, mate. I totally appreciate your point of view. And yeah, I think you're right. It would be good to get like more people like Mona into the space to sort of try and get as much. I mean, and any sort of like eyes on the space, or like to try to generate awareness and just get it out there. In my opinion, is a great thing. But Josh, yeah, you got something you want to throw in there, mate?
Yeah, no, a lot of people are making some good points. Going back to what Dee said, I do agree with what she said. She's not in the space. I was in the space yesterday, and O'Milly was shutting a lot of people up for kind of talking about her while she wasn't there, which I respect that. But at the same time, I also have seen her tagged countless times on X, and she's had multiple opportunities to step up at this point. So I think if she was going to speak on it, she would have. I'm not going to speak. I'm not speaking for her or anything, but what's happening right now is bound to happen. I even had someone in my Discord before the interview make a comment about how it's smooth sailing from here because of the Pudgy Penguins CEO being on the interview, and they thought their audience was going to help ours. And I commented and I said, it's not going to be a straight line from here. There's going to be a lot of obstacles. There's going to be a lot of challenges. Like, there's no such thing as smooth waters for VeVe. And, lo and behold, you have the community reacting, if not worse, but a very similar way to her first interview. So I like just going back to what Hinano said and people, having to expect this kind of stuff. It's exactly that, because I think every interview moving forward, this is bound to happen. Just my opinion.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I'll throw in something.
Yeah, go on.
Quick,
Yeah,
Alex,
do it.
because it's a really good point Josh brings up, because you have to strive to get better, obviously, right? But what you're going to see, I think to Tony's point too, and you're going to have, and Hinano, you're going to have a lot of people coming in that have been on the sidelines for a long time, kind of watching. It's no different than, maybe a bad example, but like a CNN journalist that never wanted to dip his or her toes into a crypto interview. Suddenly the employer is like, hey, you better get on this, right? Because everybody wants to hear about it. You don't have a piece of the game yet, so get in. And yeah, you're going to stumble. You're going to make mistakes. And if Mona was nervous, great. I'm glad she was, because that means that we're still in the learning phase. We're still in the accumulation of asset and knowledge phase. But is she getting in early, to Sleepin's point? Is she trying to make a go? Probably, yeah. I don't know her total background and her journalistic experience, but she's here. She's obviously talking about digital assets and cryptos and metaverses and stuff that, I mean, we forget, right? Because we've been in this now for, most of us, a year, couple years or more. It's so close to us. We're so passionate about this. For 99% of the planet, they don't know what a metaverse is. They don't know what an NFT is. They don't know what a digital collectible or a digital asset is. These are terrifying terms. And so I think, to Sleepin's point, the more journalists that come in and take a stab at this, maybe stumble, maybe cause all of us to have these types of conversations that can help iron and smooth this trajectory out, great.
Yeah, I completely agree. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah.
There.
No, I was gonna say, and then from our standpoint, the last thing I'll finish off with, it's like, it's kind of why, like, if you've seen any of the stuff that I do, like, I'm nowhere near Tony's level of quality, but like what I do is I put a couple of slides out, I share them on Twitter, X, whatever, just to say, hey, you know what? Here's a person that's enjoying this, that's getting some value out of this, that's having a good time with this. You could too. And it's really not hard. And so everything that I write about, everything that I try to produce, is my audience are people like me that are in my age group, my income category, social economic status, and all those kinds of demographic things that we talk about in the marketing industry. But I communicate in a different way. I buy ETFs because they're easy to get Bitcoin. Exactly. I buy VeVe NFTs because they're easy to get digital collectibles. And that's a narrative that is an educational standpoint. So it goes back to what I asked earlier, and to your point, Josh, right? What was the purpose of the interview? I think it's going to be important that those types of things are ironed out. Hey, we're going to have this interview to talk about this, and this is why. And if you're already in this space, this might not appeal to you. If you're new to the space, that it might, or vice versa, right? And then set your guests up, set your questions up. And right now, it's going to be 5-10 years. Everybody wants to talk about sprinting and racing and finish lines. There's never going to be a finish line. No. That's it. This is where we're going for the next probably 50, 100 years. So slow down, take it easy, and spend the time on the education, right? The only way to bring mass audiences in is to make them comfortable with it. So when everybody's out on Twitter yelling and screaming at each other and criticizing and making these negative narratives, that scares people away. And all it does is takes longer for us to see where we want to go or whatever your goals and objectives are. And so from our perspective, I look at it as a member of something that I'm really excited about. I'm going to do everything in my power to make that easy and understandable for people that don't get it. And if I can do that, and one person comes up to me in the gym, or one of my neighbors wants to take me for coffee next Wednesday and ask me about this because they collected comic books as a kid, the utility thing that keeps coming up, utility is the enjoyment of what you're doing. And again, it's that simple, right? And so if I can encourage a few more people to follow that path and share that vision, that I think is where the journalistic side is going to be critical. Because they have reach, they have audiences. Who mentioned earlier, Mona's got like 4,000 or 5,000 followers. That's potentially 4,000 or 5,000 new people that have never heard all of this before. Well, and what are they seeing now as a result of her introducing this? Whole firestorm crowd. Exactly. And so again, that's a negative. That's a negative to the brand. That's a negative to the experience. That's a negative to the flow of us getting to wherever it is we want to go. And so from my standpoint, that's why I'm always positive. I'm always trying to say, hey, I'm helpful. Moon boy status, whatever you want to call it, right? But the reality is, VeVe knows they have challenges. It's not like they're asleep at the wheel and don't understand sentiment and technical limitations. Is it fair to judge them today based on a business plan they created 5 or 6 years ago when the SEC was thinking differently about cryptos, tokenization, and where the market has moved to, of course they've got to pivot. And one of the things that I find exciting about VeVe is their ability to pivot. And so when a narrative like this comes in or an interview doesn't go right, you pivot.
Exactly.
Right? And you correct, you make changes, and you keep going. And then, to me, that's it. And it's just like, it's to Sleepy's point. It's going to get better, and more people are going to want to talk about this because more people are going to want to be involved in it. And that's where the journalism narrative will really help us out.
Yeah. No, exactly. I mean, it sort of comes back to the old like theory, like, you know, you make a plan, the plan sounds good, the plan goes to crap, then you make another plan, and you basically just keep rinse and repeat. But
constantly making plans. I'll throw this in, right? I mean, I work for an ad agency that's been around for, I don't know, 20 plus years. Before I joined it, it's full of traditional marketers. We still make billboards. We still make TV commercials. There's nobody really watching TV anymore. There's nobody that really looks at a billboard on the highway. But in case they're needed, they're still there. Now, everything is transitioned. Billboards are all connected by internet signals.
That's right.
Television is now streaming. YouTube is the #1 TV station on the planet. Who saw that coming? Well, those of us that were in digital marketing saw that coming 10 years ago, started planning for it. And today there's connected TV. And then there's going to be metaverse TV. Well, are you planning for it, or do you wait? Right? Traditional journalism and media will wait until you've got rock solid bandwidth, you've got a massive audience, everybody is now on connected TV. And guess what happens to connected TV? The big broadcasters come in and change the model to make it like old-fashioned cable. How you buy it, how you set your targeting up, all of it. And so that ability to get in early, take advantage of those early gains and be part of that solution, that's where I'm just always excited about that.
Boom.
So,
that's it. Boom, drop them. Actually, I'll tell you what, I think I do actually have something like that on my soundboard. Oh, I think I did. Oh yeah, there it is. That's it. And then followed up with this. Nice one. But no, I totally agree with you. Sorry guys, we've got speakers rolling in left, right, and center with hands up. So I see Rich has been sitting there for a while, like, you know, in the speaking. Richard, how are you, mate? Thanks for dropping in. Ecto Mods, I see you dropped in as well with your hands up. I will get to you shortly. Sven, you had your hands up. It's all happening, ladies and gentlemen. We're all over the place. But we'll start with Richard. Richard, how are you?
Hey Oz, thanks for having me up, and everyone down there. I wanted to speak on the negative statement against Mona about it's in the name. It's digital collectibles. Like, what's so hard to understand?
Mm-hmm.
And I disagree with that. And I like Tony's take, Chris's take, and some of the others where the interview to me is not just for us seasoned collectors that know this space. It's to get the mass market. And I saw one random comment said, I knew nothing about this VeVe, and I could have learned a lot, but he didn't outline what they did already in that space. And when I go to VeVe's Twitter right now, okay, there are licensed premium digital collectibles. Okay, what does that mean? You can interact with them in AR. May not know what that means. I understand that they have the VeVeverse. I understand that they have AR. By the way, it doesn't quite work for me. Just saying. So when they keep on repeating it's premium, that doesn't mean much. I have been in this space for 2 years. I'm active, and I still don't know what their focus is. So I thought the interview overall was pretty good. Things could have been a little better, but I don't know. That's just my point of view. And I wanted to back Mona up on that.
Yeah, and that goes back to what was I going to say? I lost my train of thought there. I was going to say somewhere on simplifying. No, it was what Chris was just saying. Somebody else speak. I'll come back. Sorry.
Like simplifying the message of what they do.
Oh, no, Chris was talking about the importance of simplifying things to get the mainstream in. And I've talked about this before. Yeah, I've talked about this before with the way that they present their OMI information, because in my opinion, well, this is why I don't really think that question around the business model is shocking, because again, I think for a lot of the people in this space, we're very close to the business, we're close to the collectibles, so we can see it. But for somebody who isn't as close, it's not as easy to see. But I agree. Sorry, I think it was Richard that was just speaking. I agree with those points, because I don't fully think that VeVe is simple. I know a lot of people talk about how, oh, it's not too hard to buy a collectible. That's really the only simple thing about VeVe, to be honest. And you still have to get past KYC to get to that point, right? Which I know they're going to be pushing back, but once they push that back, the only real thing that's simple is putting your credit card in and then choosing what to buy. Everything past that is still complicated. So just going back to that question about like not fully understanding the business model, I do understand why she asked that. But again, I think that only supports how much she didn't look into the history of the business. So that's just my opinion.
Can I speak about that as well?
Yeah.
So on that same,
of course. Yeah, go for it.
Let me see if I can pin this. So I don't know if anyone knows Jess in the community, JML86_, but she put that, I'm sorry to bore you if this is boring, but she says, I conduct, oh, dang it, did I just lose it? All right, give me a second.
Yeah, no worries, mate. No worries.
Live TV, right?
Yeah, well, like I said before, like, this is a safe space. Like,
is.
we appreciate everyone's point of view and welcome everyone up, man. So take your time.
It'll be quick. I found it. I won't read the whole thing. So she says, I conduct and analyze interviews every day for work. We go in with basic knowledge, but ask questions to clarify and understand. Interesting to see the Q's being called out, but not the A's. And I agree with that. So when people are bashing Mona, like she should have done some more legwork and stuff. Like, I'm not a professional, but like, this person says she's in the business and she's saying that that's a strategy. So I think some of us are quick to judge.
Sorry, can you tell me again? I'm sorry, I'm not understanding what the strategy for what.
No, so what you're basically saying, like, they sort of come into the space with a very like sort of basic understanding of what's going on, and then just sort of like looking to the CEOs or whatever to kind of fill in the blanks. Is that kind of what you're getting at?
That's what, according to, unfortunately, I can't pin the tweet. According to Jess, JML86_. Yeah, she's saying, I believe that's what she said.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, no, I mean, like, that is good. I mean, to be honest with you, that's more or less what I do. Like, when I do these spaces, I basically just like set up a very basic sort of set of talking points, and then just rely on the community and everyone else to sort of try and, like, prevail the conversation and like, get things going. So in that sort of point of view, I totally understand where Mona might be coming from.
The interview is only going to be as good as the interviewer. And every single time we're having this conversation, I keep thinking back to that DCon interview, where if you guys have been around long enough, there was an interview with Frank Kozik, Jermaine Rogers, David, and I think it was Alex who was on the panel at DCon, I want to say Anaheim, in 2022, I think. And if you guys look that video up on YouTube, I promise you it's worth your time. Just pay attention to the interviewer. The interviewer, he swears a lot, but he's funny, and he keeps the energy like way up. Like, David's laughing the whole time, Reese is laughing the whole time. That's who it was, Reese. And the whole panel is just having a great time. The interview is only going to be as good as the interviewer.
That's right. I set the mood and the tone and all that sort of jazz. But sorry, I just want to quickly go to Ectomods, who's had his hand very patiently up for a while, and then I'll get back to Tony VeVe NFT. Ectomods, how are you, mate? Thanks for coming back to the space. I remember you were here last time. We had a good conversation about Ghostbusters.
Yeah, right on. Can you hear me?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, got you.
So I guess the pieces that kind of stuck with me, I didn't really like the tone of the interview, but in spaces afterwards, Mona did mention that her plan changed right before the interview when she was finding out about the Bitforex stuff. So she did, like, she's claiming to be the voice of the people. So she went in with a bit of a vendetta, it seemed like.
Okay.
So it really did seem like at the beginning, she was pitting the two companies against each other, which is the better model, basically on the token. And I couldn't even really get at what she wanted David to say at the end. Like, what was it that he could say to the people? I couldn't pick up on where she was expecting. Like, was it more exchanges? Is it, because as far as I'm aware, you can put OMI on the app, can you not? Like, that's a place where you can put it. Is that true?
No, not because of the App Store policies.
Okay, so I was in OMI when I was comfortable with the Sendex, but then I feel like I got too sketched out by it, so I took my money off of it until a more reliable option comes up. So I mean, there are options out there for people. I think the part that I had a hard time with too was afterwards when she featured the rundown video from Superstar Money, which really continued her narrative in a more aggressive way. So I just felt like that kind of self-adoration or coming into the spaces afterwards, I was having a hard time with that. And Mona loves the community, but it doesn't seem like she knows anything about it, or what's binding those people together, I guess. So I don't want to put anyone on blast, but I am curious if Miss Gecko, if it went the way that you hoped it would go, but being a moderator or being friends with Mona and knowing her in the background, but it rubbed me the wrong way, and I don't know if David will do many interviews afterwards.
Okay. That is the unfortunate thing. I would agree with that. I don't know how many interviews he's going to be doing moving forward, but I think to your point about her reposting the Superstars video, I think that's just a smart move on her part. I mean, it just goes back to what Chris was saying about how, as a reporter, obviously her job is to light a fire. That fire was already lit. They just helped kind of keep it going. So I understand why she would repost a video like that. I think the point that I was making earlier is that I think the fire that was lit, it wasn't what she had intended. Like she was digging at the two CEOs more so the one, but trying to get information from them that I think she was trying to blow up, and it kind of spun a little bit backwards. And that's just our community. We tend to always do that, but
yeah, true.
I don't think that, or I think her reposting the video afterwards is just a smart move on her part. Just gets it out to more people.
Yeah, that's all for me. I really appreciate the discussion afterwards, because it was really eating away at me, and I felt like people were being pretty respectful about not talking about it in a critical way right away. Like it did seem like there was some time where people kind of started to percolate and figure out, wait, other people are feeling the same way. So I think it's fair game. If Mona's not here, she can be here, or she can be in any of the spaces. But if she's going to be a journalist, then she needs to expect that people are going to be commenting on her.
People will comment, yeah, just within reason. Obviously, everybody remind themselves of that. We don't want anybody coming up being disrespectful or anything. But
right,
I don't know about you guys. I don't think that's really happened so far. I think, what you said. It's important to be critical. So, keep it going.
Yeah, no, for sure. So no worries. Yeah, thanks, Ectomod, for coming back. And thank you for that little contribution to the conversation. And yeah, just to go back to what Josh was saying, like, I don't feel like we've had any sort of nastiness or disrespectfulness in the space at the moment. It's been a really, really good, constructive conversation. So loving it. Lots of different points of view, lots of different feelings going around. This is great. It's been a really good conversation, and it's still going. So I think Tony and VeVe NFT Comics are up next. So
yeah, thank you. Agree. Really robust discussion, and definitely appreciate everybody's tone and insights. Couple things. First, I hope that David doesn't withdraw after this.
Same.
I hope that as someone who's been a visionary in this space, who's got a company playing such a lead role in this kind of emergence of digital collecting. I think it's important for somebody in his position to continue to be visible, accessible. But that does come with risks and things you have to deal with, right? You're going to get things from a lot of different angles. As the lead dog pulling the sled, as I said in another space, you're going to get most of the wind in your face. You're going to get more of the tough questions probably. Yeah. But that kind of comes with being in the lead, frankly. But I hope we don't see him less accessible as a result of this, because I really think the space needs someone like him to continue to be speaking out and shining that light. So that would be my hope. The other thing is there's a little bit of irony on this research thing about the business model, I think, because as someone who arrived before there was Marvel, before there was Disney, stuff was just happening. I remember very distinctly David and team saying about long term, hey, this is going to be maybe much more than digital collectibles. At one point, there was a visionary kind of statement around what we know today as VeVe being nothing more than like this small gift shop off in a corner of something much bigger, right, that we see for VeVe. So that goes back, like the 2021 time. So I think it is a fair question to say, hey, with everything you've learned, I know it's still called VeVe Digital Collectibles, but hey, Apple was once called Apple Computer.
That's very
Some
true.
People might remember, right? So I think I think it is fair to say, even if you have well researched things or just surface looked at them, I think it's a valid question around, well, where do you see this model headed long term? Because whether you're somebody who's been around a long, long time or someone new, I could see why both perspectives might lead you to say, hey, can you give us an update on where you see this going? I didn't interpret that as her coming from a view of ignorance. I really took it as, hey, this is a dynamic space. It's changed a lot and will continue to change. Where do you see your model going? That's the way I took that question.
Yeah. Basically, like how can you pivot, like, with the changing circumstances, technology, and et cetera, et cetera. Like, I know, like, especially like when we get the VeVeVerse come out and play, like, Apple Vision Pros are going to be all over the place and probably a lot more affordable as well as time goes on. And yeah, just how the whole space as a whole just develops. So exciting times. Sven, sorry, mate, you've had your hand up very patiently. Sorry, we're trying to get around to everybody.
Yeah, no problem. I just wanted to tell, I love the interview with Metamona. We had the first interview with Metamona, I think a month ago, and I loved her interview because she asked the right questions. She asked the things I want to know, and reason why I wanted to look at the second interview. But maybe we just have to start look at ourselves. Look, I lost about 2 million OMI last week. We probably ourselves, and maybe we expect an AMA or something like that. Maybe we expect some news, some new alpha. And, we did see the Cryptoids owner talking about his AI alpha, that his puppets were going to talk in AI. And you see David sitting there, and he just has to have his lips sealed because when he tells something in alpha, the community gets really, really hyped, and he's like cripple on that part for me. Those are things we should consider. And the second thing I wanted to say is we are VeVe Digital Collectibles, but if I go outside and I tell someone I collect digital collectibles, they don't have a clue what I collect. So maybe we should start to think, maybe we should call it VeVe NFTs or VeVe. Yeah, the things they are NFTs. So maybe we should rebrand that and tell the people we collect premium NFTs. The thing is, when they say premium, I always think about Lenectra and her looking to the side and premium things. I look at those Black Widow dolls. So maybe we have some work on the premium aspect of our digital NFTs too. If I look at premium items, I rather look at McFarlane toys, digital toys. I think they're more premium, to be honest here. But to be honest, for me, Metamona tells everything I want to know and tells the things, the right questions. But maybe we as a fan base, we have kind of long toes at the moment, and we cannot handle the right questions without the wrong answers. So we need good short answers, and that's a bit the problem of David. Sometimes I was at Auxer, and I asked him some questions too, and he loves collecting, and he starts talking, but isn't straight at the point sometimes. Those were the points I wanted to address.
Where's Fro when you need him?
I was literally thinking the exact same thing. We're gonna have Fro jumping in here in a minute, going come to defend his girl.
No, the point that I made earlier about how we're too close to the situation, though, that's exactly what I mean there. It's like when you're talking about digital collectibles to other people, they don't know what you're talking about, right? So, but
so we always talk about our digital collectibles, but are they easy to understand for other people?
So, that was the whole reason why VeVe kind of focuses on that term, right, as opposed to NFTs, because NFTs is what really confuses people. Nobody knows what a non-fungible token is, right? Like, and even just what happened with this whole Bitforex situation. And I'm sorry, man, that you lost some OMI.
Yeah, same stuff.
It's. I mean, that's kind of a smaller example of the bigger picture, right? Like. And correct me if I'm wrong, you're an active member, right? But we still have some people who obviously could be making some better moves, I guess. And it just comes down to education, right? Around the collectibles themselves, but then also the token.
Yeah, well, I think it sort of also comes back to as well, like it sort of reiterates the point that to sort of again back to education, also more about self-custody and all that sort of thing, about actually the risks involved of keeping your coins on exchanges, whether it be like Coinbase, Binance, Bitforex, anything like that. And it just sort of goes back to a point that I saw made in the space, which I'm just trying to find. It was more or less along the lines of I didn't see it. No, we've gone past it. But I think it was more or less of like, how we have OMI staking on in VeVe, like for the master collector points in that, is that do we sort of have the same sort of confidence? Here it is, I found it. So it's basically along the lines of with Bitforex going down, so we learn the more importance about like self custody and cold wallet storage and things like that. Basically asking how safe is our OMI on the VeVe platform, because obviously it'd be the same thing. If VeVe goes down, then it's going to take all of our collectibles and OMI with it.
Yeah, but there's some irony in that situation too, because if you really understand how the banking system, financial system is set up, like the whole financial system is a house of cards in and of itself. So
that's true as well.
It's kind of funny how that all works, but like just. And I don't want to be like condescending or anything, but I remind everybody here to be safe with their tokens. I got to open up to you guys for a sec here. I got my first DM as a creator that kind of really hurt me, I guess you can say. I got a long DM. I got a long DM after this Bitforex situation from somebody venting, I guess you can say, and they were talking along the lines of like, relationships in their personal life has gone downhill, and they're drinking a lot, questioning their life every day, and it got really serious. And this Bitforex situation, I mean, obviously there's some wallets out there that had, from what I understand, like 80 million in there that were on Bitforex, which is crazy. Right down to people who are holding like $30 worth. So whether you're on one side of the spectrum or not, just put your money on a cold storage and get it off the exchange. Can't be more than that.
Yeah, I mean, like, look, I sort of like come along those lines as well. Look, like, I'll have a little sharing session here as well. Like, I've actually had an incident in the past as well with something like that. Except mine wasn't in the form of Bitforex. Mine came under the name of Celsius. And if anyone's familiar with Celsius, what happened with them? That was my little kick in the pants about like keeping your stuff on cold storage, because that hit me pretty heavily, and that caused a lot of I won't say financial stress, but definitely a lot of emotional stress and a lot of nastiness. I'll just say nastiness. But it's all good now. So it's all sort of like on the upside. So they managed to finally get their business together and get out of bankruptcy, and they managed to get some payments back to their customers, which is great to see. So if anyone is involved in any of that, hopefully you get something out of it. Obviously it was nowhere near what I lost, but at least it's better than nothing. So there's a little silver lining to that. But I can understand where that person might be coming from. But my question is, why are they venting it to you? Like, how is that? Like, how are you responsible for them not self-custodying?
Well, make a longer story short, I'm not.
Exactly.
It's just, and it goes for anybody who, I guess, creates content. And I never really was kind of thinking about this before it happened. It happened last week, but I guess it's just, as a content creator, something you have to expect, I guess, from time to time. And to be clear, right, like, I'm not trying to be rude saying this. I'm not like, you can't respond to all the messages. It's just, in this case, I did, because it is somebody who I have developed a relationship with in the community. So,
yep.
But yeah, I mean, it goes for I see my collectables down there, Vibesman, all these people who put out content. It's just something, I guess, because of the space we're in too, right? Like, where we're dealing with collectibles that go up and down in value, and people online saying certain things. And then also, we were talking about emotions with our community. I mean, our community is
exactly
crazy, right? So you go onto Twitter and you see somebody buy 3 partner statues, you FOMO in, right? So
yep.
There's a bit of a dark side, I guess you can say, but
yeah. But again, it all comes back to the end of the day. Like, you sort of take responsibility for your own actions, be aware of what you're doing, and just be aware that these things can happen, and just be prepared for it if it does, and just try and be sensible and make sensible decisions. Even though, like you said, we are emotional creatures. We do things out of emotion, not logic. And actually, the best quote I heard is that we do things out of emotion, but then we try and back it up with logic.
Could I jump in?
Absolutely.
So it's about the self-custody with OMI, but I want to spread it across multiple projects that I'm in.
Okay.
This isn't only directed towards Ecomi. I put Elmon X, McFarlane Digital Toys. I'll call them all out. I think we need to speak up more, respectfully, of course, to demand more. According to, from my understanding, if Ecomi had wallet delegation, we could put our Ecomi in a cold wallet and have it truly cold, and then still get the perks for MCP. I don't like it when people say it's all on the user, because yes, Ecomi has a page that says, hey, you should be self-custodying it, but yet they really promote the perks where you have to, put it within VeVe, which is not, you can't do that through cold storage. So it's mixed messaging. I'll run really quick through McFarlane. They responded and they said it's unrarable. They know that that's a feature that some are demanding. And so I think we should not demand, but really
heavily suggest.
Yeah, like, I don't think it's on the user when we can't truly have cold storage. It just doesn't work with all the perks.
Yeah, definitely. And also they need to make it easier as well, like, because if they want to do, like, everything like in-app, they got to try and make it easier, like actually, like, being able to get it, like, on the VeVe app itself, and, like, take the whole bridging process out of it, because I know that scares a lot of people. I know it definitely scares me. But you're right. If they can do more in relation to cold storage and give people that level of safety, that might encourage people to sort of jump on the platform more and get more involved with the project. Sven, go Go on, mate.
Quick question. Is there a way to keep the space going as a co-host or no?
I have no idea. I don't think so, but I'm good if. I mean, like, so we're having a great conversation. Like, I'm willing to go a bit longer if everyone's willing to keep listening.
Yeah. As long as you don't have your bedtime.
No, I'm all good. So I'm pretty sure the kids are asleep. So the missus is still not. Yep, no, I'm pretty sure she's still asleep. So I'm good. I'm pretty good for another maybe half hour or so tops, because it is coming up on 10:30 at night here in the UK. So I do have to get some degree of sleep.
Yeah, however long you can go for.
Yeah, mate. No, but like I said, I'll keep going for as long as everyone wants to keep listening. But yeah, sorry, Sven, we'll getting to you, mate.
Yeah. So the thing is, I had 2 million OMI on the Bitforex, but for me 2 million, it was 2 million so I had 10 million on the app and 2 million to trade. So I had 2 million there. In case the market would go parabolic, I would change it out and buy something else with it. So the thing is, when people start to say, yeah, you should have known you had the keys, you didn't have the keys, so it's not your crypto. It doesn't really help. It doesn't really help anyone, to be honest. The thing is, if I was able to move it easily to the OMI wallet and move it out of the OMI wallet easily, I would probably immediately put it there. But it's so hard to put it on there and so hard to put it off there. The 10 million I have in there, I probably won't take out of there any day. So the thing is, for me, if I have a customer, and in my case, I'm a veterinarian. If I have a customer and I send my customer to another veterinarian who specialized in orthopedics or cardiology or another specialty, I will send them there. But if something goes wrong there, at the end, I feel responsible myself. So I have to send the customer to the best place to do orthopedic surgery, dermatology or other things, in order to have a good state of mind myself. So that's something VeVe should keep in mind themselves too. Why send people to some strange Hong Kong Bitforex site? If I would have known it was based in Hong Kong, I should have known it, to be honest. But if I would know it, okay, this is China based, maybe that's not a good idea to hold it long there. I would have probably put it immediately to another wallet, but after all, now it's probably lost. But those are things VeVe should consider. If I send my customer to another place, at the end, I'm responsible myself. I think that is something VeVe should keep in mind.
Yeah, Doctor, something you wanted to chime in with?
Yeah, my phone blacked out for a little, so it's like not showing me who was just speaking.
It was Sven.
Sven. Okay. Yo, it's so funny he mentioned this. I actually did a little lunch with Randy yesterday. We realized we live kind of close to each other, and
nice.
Hey, let's get up, shoot the breeze, right? So it's funny that Sven brought that up, because I would say like a week or two before this whole Bitforex thing happened, I literally was saying the same thing to myself. And I'll tell you why. On Thursday, I'm looking at my text messages. On Thursday, January 25th, I got a random text message, and it says, asset withdrawal notice. Due to legal and regulatory restrictions in New York State, please kindly note the services of your account might be restricted. If you are not a user of the region, please verify your national identity through KYC process platform before February 1st. I'm sitting here saying to myself, who the hell is this? I don't even know where this, like, what is this in reference to? I'm like, I don't know what they're talking about. I got another text message just like that on February 1st. Then I got another one the 9th. Then I got another one the 15th. on the 15th, it says all services of your account have been ceased and all of your ongoing orders have been forcibly closed from February 8th. Your account is currently only available to login and withdraw operations. So I was still sitting here like, what the hell are they talking about? So basically what it boils down to is probably a year and a half, 2 years ago, I was trying to find exchanges to buy OMI on. And I think at the time someone said, try KuCoin. So I signed up with KuCoin, made it an account. But the problem is, like, once I went to move forward, it was just like a lot of these other exchanges and platforms that told me, you know, due to your location, New York, you can't do anything. So basically me getting these text messages and over weeks and weeks and weeks, first I'm just ignoring it. I get all types of random robocalls and all types of weird text messages. So I almost ignored it, but then it was like the same type of message over and over. Eventually I figured out it was KuCoin. And that's where, again, like 2 to 3 weeks ago, I was sitting there saying, I don't have my money on KuCoin, but what if this happens on Bitforex? Because that was where I had my own. And I was literally saying to myself, and this is what I brought to Randy, I said, I don't own a cold storage wallet, but I was thinking, because I do have OMI that I transferred on the app, like way, way, way back when they had like a wallet thing and all that. And I was saying the same thing, and I said it to Randy. I said, you know, when I was getting these messages for the last month in reference to KuCoin, I would have probably moved my OMI over onto the app, but it's so difficult. It was like easier back when I did it than it is now to me. Like right now, I have to totally relearn how to do it. So I just, you know, I don't know how many other people are out there, you know, that feel like if it was easier to move, they would have just done that. Who knows when? Especially when they announced, like, you know, it applying to the MCP points. I know some people did move it over, but, you know, not everybody is savvy or wants to take the risk of putting in the wrong digit and then they don't know where their OMI went. Sometimes, like, you're just happy you moved it or you got it and you don't really want to touch it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of this stuff is very volatile, and, you know, I'll just land my plane right there. That was my little 2 cents on it. Totally agree with Sven.
Yeah, right. And like, just to go back to your point about, like, you know, like you get like one digit wrong and like then you just sort of everything like sort of just goes to pot. Like, you know, I've had moments as well, like, you know, where I've used an exchange, like, you know, I've transferred stuff between these exchanges or MetaMask or whatever. I know the address is right. I know everything is all good, but yet you still hit that button and you still slightly panicking in the back of your head, like, you know, I hope this gets to where it needs to go. And that's still one of the things that's sort of like, you know, still holding back like mass adoption and all that sort of stuff, is that it's still got that fear factor to it. That's kind of like what Chris was going back to saying before about VeVe being easy to use, and that's sort of what we need, is like it still needs to be easy to use to get the mainstream in.
Yep.
Yep. Ah, very cool. Well, this has been all I can say is, guys, this has been one hell of an episode, one hell of a discussion. Like we've basically had everything from birthday parties to collecting on the app to the MetaMoon interview to OMI self-custody. We've had basically everything in this episode. It's been fantastic, and I just want to say a big thank you to everybody who's stuck with us for this long, and really appreciate everybody speaking in the space, from Doctor to Chris, Richard, Sven, Tony, Hinano, D, and just everybody. So this has been a really good discussion. Been a lot talked about, a lot of emotion sort of expressed, and yeah, it's been really great. But like I said, I do have to start wrapping up the space some in the next 20 minutes or so. But if there was anybody who was listening in the background who wanted to come up and say a few words or say hi, or contribute to the conversation, like I say all the time, you're more than welcome to. This is a safe space. And I do welcome everybody up to the stage, and always eager to hear everyone's opinion, point of views, opinion. Even if you just want to talk about your collection. Say if you scored anything in the drop today with the Marvel Mighties drop.
You know what these conversations make me think of when it comes to crypto is
what?
It makes me really wonder what it would have been like being around when the stock market and stuff was being created.
Oh yeah,
like when the stock market first launched and everything, I bet you it would have been a complete repeat of what's happening right now with people taking advantage of like lack of regulations and people losing their money and not knowing how to invest in the stock market because you got to go onto a website.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the same with these sort of technology, isn't it? Like, we always keep going back, like, to the first iterations of the internet and like the first, like, mobile phones and all this sort of stuff coming out. Like, it's like all that sort of like, oh, it's new. It's like, why do we need this fangled like contraption when I can do this? It's like, it's like what Chris always talks about, like, being around for the inception of the internet, like the same as I was. It's like, everyone's like, oh, why do I have to send a letter on my computer? I can just go to the post office and post it that way. It's because that's what people are familiar with. That's what people have like grown, like that's part of the routine. That's what everyone's. It's.
Well, I call myself a digital dinosaur. I've been around through some reiterations.
Want to know a funny story?
Exactly.
I remember when I started that job in the car industry several years back. I remember I got hired into the position and I had to fax some paperwork. FAX, that's right.
Oh
fax.
God, fax.
Dude, I don't even know how to do that. So I remember walking over to the fax machine, standing in the middle of the showroom, just looking around for like 15 minutes, waiting for somebody to come over and be like, do you know what you're doing? Like, no.
That was the first thing I used to do at one of the jobs I had was you'd come in the morning, you'd say hi to everybody, get your coffee, go sit down at your desk, and then get set up, turn on your big computer monitor, and then walk over to the fax machine and see how many contracts came in over the evening that you would then spend the next hour or two, working through. And now it's like, what's a fax?
Yeah, exactly.
And then your point, Josh, so good too, because think about the stock market itself. Like all of a sudden there was trading. And then how did you used to buy stocks? I don't know if many of you remember this, but you had to phone a broker to buy your stock who sent you by mail a confirmation. And then if you wanted to sell that stock, like you had to read the newspaper the next day to see what the stock closed at the day before, and then make your decision how you were going to sell it. Now, right, everything's live, real time. There's how many apps for brokerage? And then, from the stock broker, you had to then, the banks got involved and said, oh, you can trade on the bank now. We'll set up your brokerage account. But every time you made a trade, it was $7 or whatever the fee was that the bank charged you to execute the trade orders. And then they got out of the way because the apps came in. And now you can trade real time. Half of them have no fees, or they take a small percentage on the trade in the back end that you barely see, but it's based on volume. So the price per trade they charge you is low, but they have millions of people trading. Yep. And so again, right, it's a perfect parallel, Josh, because how did we start off with VeVe, right? You had to figure out how to get in and then buy some stuff, and then there were high fees, and we're still complaining about the fees. And then VeVe got rid of, you don't have to use Apple Pay. You
can website.
Use your credit card. Yeah, no fee. And I get air miles on my credit card. And then, yes, the licensors charge their component, and VeVe has their fees, and there's going to be cash out fees, but they're high right now because the user base is low. But David's point, like, I'm never thinking about the next 5 weeks. I'm thinking about the next 5 years. Imagine in 5 years, we've got 20, 30, I don't know, maybe 100 million. Maybe there's only 1 or 2 million, but there's going to be a lot more users in the app where maybe those fees are reduced because they're based on volume. Right now, they need those fees to recover the production costs, pay the designers, pay the partners, pay the servers, all the stuff that would have fees associated. As more and more users come in, those are going to come down. And it's the exact parallel of how we bought and sold and trade stocks and shares, and and how many of us now trade in crypto and don't even buy stocks.
Exactly.
Right? I know in my Twitter feed, I'm getting bombarded with ads from the World Gold Council encouraging me to buy gold. Now, gold's surging a little bit, right? Because the older crowds, right? They still like gold. It's tangible. They can hold it. They know where it is. But you can't do anything with it, right? You can't take it out of your safety deposit box and chip a little corner of it off and go use it to buy.
That's it. Can't take it on an airplane and go like a multinational with it.
Yeah, exactly. But they're marketing to me because, I mean, there's a whole bunch of factors why I see that ad, but they probably know that I buy Bitcoin. And it's like, we better try and win this guy back. We have one last chance, right? It's going to come a time when the model will flip. It's happening slowly, right? But of all the news that you are exposed to in cryptocurrency and Bitcoin, we talk about it all day long because it's comfortable for us. We've been involved in it, but still, right? What's the fiat stock market? Who help me out? Someone that's good with math and numbers. But let's just say it's $10 trillion of money goes in and out of buying traditional stocks. Bitcoin is just approaching 1 trillion, like 10% of it, right? What if just 1 or 2 more percent shifted over? What exponential growth that means. And so I look at that from the collectibles industry, right? It's like it's an $8 billion a year industry. How much of that do we have combined across all the platforms? Probably less than 1%. It only takes a couple of percent of audience to shift that mindset, saying, oh, I should probably think about moving into this too. And suddenly you've got adoption, right? It's hard being the pioneers because that's where the most work happens, right? There's no society that you would move into. You move on to raw land. You have to cut a tree down and build a house. Like, that's hard, right? You got to survive the winters, try and find food, right? And then gradually things start to grow and more people say, hey, that's a nice place to be. And then more people come. And that's just exactly what's happening here. So, but it's such a good reference, Josh. Like, you're spot on that. So I wanted to shout out.
Thank you. I totally meant to do that.
No, nice one. All right, guys. Well, we're coming up in the last 10 minutes or so of the show. So, like I said before, if anybody wants to come up and say a few words, you're more than welcome to. But I'll just looking at my my talking points here. So we had VeVe actually came out with another little announcement or a little teaser, I should say. They've got where is it? So there's something coming on the 29th of February, I believe. So
I was thinking. I was thinking about the announcement on the 13th of March.
Which one's that?
At least the screenshot that I keep seeing. It's not confirmed by VeVe yet, but the boxing, the sports.
Oh, that one? No, I actually haven't seen that one yet. No, the one I was talking about is this one here about the cherry blossom flowering forecast.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
No, not seen that one. No, I mean I would pin it to the post of to the chat if I could. But if you go over to VeVe Digital's page over on X, there's it says a cherry blossom flowering forecast map. It has a picture of Tokyo and all sorts of colors on it. And there's little emojis like saying a cherry blossom, lips, dragon, unicorn.
Oh yeah, I completely missed that.
Yeah, jump over there now and have a look. I mean,
is that the Dragon Ball? Is that what that?
Well, there's that's the first speculation there might be Tokidoki, and some more maybe some more unicornos coming. Yeah, so that's the one I saw. But yeah, I did also see the one about the boxing gloves as well. But I haven't actually seen anything else about it. Just like a little teaser on one of the pages, but there's nothing on their blog article. Nothing else.
I don't know what that screenshot's for. Japan Meteorological Corporation.
Yeah, if someone's able to pin it,
we'll scroll down the screen a bit, and then it's a village put on the. There's a little grab of the different characters and how they align with those names. Maybe that's it.
Yeah.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it says the 6th forecast announcement on the February 29th, 2024. So it says something's coming maybe the end of February 29. So yeah, don't know what that is.
I see VeVe's down to 223 followers. What were they up at? 225.1 or something like that? 223,000 followers. They've been going down for a little bit, but like market.
So yeah, we've got that coming. We've also got the upcoming comics coming as well. So is anybody excited about this one? We got Tales to Astonish number 44, which is the first appearance of Janet Van Dyne, the Wasp, which looks like a good cover. It's very got another cover by Nicoletta Balderi, which looks really nice.
I like that.
Very cool. And I think this book's actually got a fairly decent in real life value to it as well.
Yeah, I'm just looking that up right now.
Come on, Chris, you don't know?
There we go. So last 9.6 fair market value is $47,000.
Oh, there you go, 47 grand.
And the last 9.8 sold in July of 2012 for 17. So yeah, that puts it. Who's better at this? Probably Sleeping, or Aaron. But I would probably say that's north of 50 grand for a 9.8. Only 1,200 graded total.
Yeah, it's nice. And we do have the medium blog articles available as well. So it's going to be a 10 gem price point, and it's 5,000 editions.
Oh, that's nice.
So yeah, not bad.
That'll be a good My Collectables episode.
Yeah, I'll definitely.
You listen to Aaron?
It'll definitely be there. So I'll be looking out for it.
Oh, that'll sell out.
Yeah, that'll definitely sell out. And then after that, which I don't think is going to sell out, is we've got where are you? We have got there it is. We got Marvel's The Invincible Iron Man number 10, which is 2008. So from the Dark Reign storyline, which is apparently the first appearance of Pepper Potts in her rescue's armor.
Pepper Potts.
So FA Pepper Potts in rescue armor. So not FA Pepper Potts, because I think we've already got that one on the app. But yeah, I believe that one is $6.99 and 5K editions. Yeah, cool covers, but no VeVe exclusive rare and ultra rare covers, but they do look like they're in real life covers by Salvador LaRocca. So, yeah, but the secret is looking cool though, with the Pepper Potts armor front and center, and then you got like Iron Man on the ultra rare, which doesn't look too bad.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
So funny too. This could be it could be a whole other stream topic you do, Alex. Like the impact of like modern pop culture on these prices versus historical value. I mean, you look at Ant-Man, for instance.
Oh yeah,
right. How big and important a character that is, and the book has high value physically. And then you look at the Ant-Man book in VeVe, and it's like way under retail on the common and stuff. And I think it's because the third show. I mean, there might have been some fans out there. I didn't like it. Way too much poor CGI. Visuals weren't great. Story struggled, and then that impacts the sale of the product, right?
Yeah, well, that's right. I mean, like, there's been a lot of quality over quantity lately when it comes to the Marvel universe, but hopefully that'll change soon. Because what's next in the pipeline? We've just had what have we had? We've just had Echo. So what's next? Must be
Deadpool 3. What's that?
That's
summer?
July. Yep.
July. That'll be huge. The Fantastic Four. I got to think next year that's gonna be enormous, because I mean they're all connecting, right? Black Panther connects to Fantastic Four.
Yeah, that's true.
You're gonna see Deadpool, Wolverine.
That's just gonna shake everything out there.
My suspicion is I think we're gonna see some more, at least references to Alpha Flight, which that's who trained Wolverine.
That's true. Yeah.
Right? And so why did VeVe launch? Either they launched Alpha Flight 1 because they wanted to get some Canadian users in there, or it's being written into the show. I know Aaron does a great job talking about, what's the reason that's there. So anyways, I see stuff like that. I try to put the dots together. I think Sleepin does a really good job of connecting like speculation and, here's why to watch for this book and stuff like that. So
yeah. Well, It's always fun to speculate.
Hey,
Yes.
if this guy doesn't shave his mustache off, man, I'm gonna just think I'm looking at the same character from all other movies, man. Mr. Fantastic gotta have the clean shave, yo. They gotta, they gotta get on the Yankees type of vibe. You know what I'm saying? No facial hair, man.
That's it.
You know, they could try salt and pepper the size of his head all they want, but I'm gonna just see the same dude. I'm gonna be thinking Mandalorian, like they gotta shave that mustache, man.
Yeah, go get rid of the mustache. But I'm still curious to see who they're going to cast as Doom, though. I reckon that's going to be a very big role.
Yeah. Who was the guy that did the ones back in the 90s? I liked the old
Julian McMahon? Is that the one?
Yeah. Yeah. He was in that show with the doctors.
Is
dark-haired guy.
Yeah. He was in what's he been in? He's been in Charmed, Nip Tuck.
Nip Tuck. Yeah. That's the one I was thinking of. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was great in it. I thought he did a really good job. So
yeah, he's kind of dropped.
We'll see.
He's kind of dropped off the map a little bit. Like I haven't seen him like in anything for ages.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen anything.
Yeah, cool. Well, we'll have to stay tuned for that one because that's coming. What else is up?
X-Men animated.
Oh yeah, that's going to be a big one because that's coming up real fast. Yeah.
That's fun. I mean, this goes back to what we talked about earlier, right? The whole nostalgia. Like I'm watching the original series with my son, and it's every character, right? There they are on screen. There they are in VeVe. It's all coordinating. They're all coming out new. They drop Magneto and Professor X and the X-Men. It's just that's how the marketing behind this is where it's just like incredible to me.
Well, okay. Speaking of marketing, though, I know you guys were just speculating. Here's some more speculation for you.
Do it.
That because I was talking about the boxing gloves that have been popping up. I don't know if you've seen that screenshot, but it says on the date that it's supposed to be dropping March 13th. It's for this boxer named, his last name's Parker. I can't remember his first name. But the VeVe logo's on the glove. So what's interesting to think about is what if VeVe sponsors the boxing event and their logo's on the ring? Boxing is a massive sport.
Yeah.
That's
like
cool.
Like the boxing or UFC or any that sort of jazz, like, that definitely do it.
Yeah. So that's intriguing to think about, to say the least.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That definitely gets some eyes on space. Very cool. All right, guys. Well, it's coming up on 11 o'clock at night here in the UK, and I got to start wrapping the space up because I get to some degree of sleep. But again, I should call this like last rounds. DoktaStrange, Doctor. So you got your hand up, mate. You want to get the last few words in before we start wrapping up?
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Thanks again for being the consistent man you are, holding it down. Shout out VeVe Collective and everybody coming through for the VeVe weekend. Shout out to Josh, too, man. You know what I'm saying? Well, to Scott, man.
No, that's it. Well, I suppose, like, just despite everything that's been going on in the space and all that, like, VeVe's still creating a product that everyone loves. It's bringing everybody together as a community, like bringing people together in these spaces to sort of like share our love of it. Like, we share our collections, we share our experiences, what it's meant to us. I still believe VeVe is like, moving in the right direction. Their drops are still selling out, so everyone's still engaging in the platform and the product. Shush. Sorry, that was the wife calling me saying it's time for bed. But yeah, I'm still quite positive about the vision of VeVe and where it's going, and I think as soon as we get the VeVe versus the mix, that's really going to shake things up.
Don't say that word. It's cool.
Ooh, dirty word.
Anything VeVe-verse related just hurts me right now.
Okay, all right. Bad word. So on that note, then I'm going to start wrapping the space up. Unless anyone wants to say any last words before I start getting a second angry phone call from the wife saying come to bed and stop making so much noise.
No, just thank you for everybody stopping by. We've had a consistent audience this episode. I know Mr. MC was running a space at the beginning. Others like Rolex and everybody was in that space. So I appreciate you guys hopping over here and listening in.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, appreciate everybody who's spoken. Appreciate everybody who's taken the time out of the busy day to come and listen in. And yeah, like Josh was saying, there's been a lot of spaces going on, a lot of discussion happening as well. And just appreciate everyone giving us a moment of your time. I hope you've enjoyed the conversations. If you missed anything about what's happened, fear not. The replay will be available on the VeVe Collective's YouTube channel, so you can always catch us there on the replay if you need some background music to listen to while you're taking the kids to school, doing the dishes, laundry, whatever it is you might be doing. But Dr. Chris, is there anything you or Sven as well? I see you're still down there. Anything you want to leave us with before I start closing out?
Yeah, I'll go. Thank you for attending, all the people sticking it out through this. We've been here, a couple hours at least.
Yeah, we've been going for a while, two and a half hours. Normally we go for 2 hours, but we decided to keep going for an extra half hour because the conversation's just been too good.
Yeah, and some great comments, some great chats, discussions. Some new voices came up. I really like, and the more. I
think one thing I want to add too
is great end of the weekend.
Oh, sorry, Chris. Yeah, I'm not trying to cut you off. There's a bit of a delay here. The only other thing I want to add too is I know we were talking a lot about Mona's interview. I believe she just celebrated her birthday, so she's been taking a lot of crap, to say the least, from the community. So wish her a happy birthday.
Yeah. I was gonna say, should we sing? It's like happy birthday to you. No, it's probably a bit late. But anyway, so happy birthday to you, Mona. So just if you do manage to listen to this on the replay as well, I just want to say, I thought the interview was very very good. It definitely created a lot of discussion, brought a lot of us together to talk about it. I think it had the one of the desired effects, which is keep everyone engaged and keep everyone talking about it. So congratulations to you. And I did also see a comment in one of the spaces saying that she didn't she's not a collector. She doesn't know what she's talking about. She's not, because she doesn't have any NFTs or anything. She's not involved in the space. But I mean, so what I have to say to that is that, well, to get involved in the community in the space, you don't have to own any collectibles. You just have to sort of just get along with everybody. Because the way I sort of see that is that there was a stage where I couldn't participate in the market because I had a few financial issues. But again, you don't have to be active in the market to sort of engage with the community. That's where hosting these spaces come in. Just interacting with everybody and just creating positive vibes. So if you're in that same sort of boat where you might not be able to participate in the market because financial reasons or whatever, just know that you can make a difference. You can participate in the space and you can get involved. And that actually comes back to a video that SleepynComics did a while back about finding your place in the community. And that's kind of where I found mine, by hosting these spaces and just try and bring everybody together as best I can. So on that note, on that note, I'll start closing things out. So I just want to say a big thank you to everybody who's taken the time out of their busy day to come and listen in with us. We've had fantastic discussions, everything ranging from birthday parties to Metabona's interview to the latest VeVe drops and everything else in between. It's just been a wild roller coaster of discussion. It's been fantastic, been great. And I just want to say a big thank you to DoktaStrange, Chris Severs, Sven, Tony, D, and everyone else who's been speaking in the space. Just been mind blowing. And I'll just leave us on with a bit of acknowledgement. Like I say all the time, these are brought to you by the VeVe Collective, which is the collectors group that I just happen to be president of. And basically the idea behind the VeVe Collective is basically just to create a space in a group where we could all come together and just nerd out and just share our love of collecting, our passion for Marvel, VeVe, digital, physical collecting, and just all other that good stuff that you might be into. And another reminder as well that we will have our VeVe live coming soon at the end of the month. So that'll be on the 24th of March is what we're aiming for. And which will more or less be basically these spaces, but just like on a live stream on YouTube, where we can share our collections, do fun things like reaction videos, have discussions about VeVe and the digital market, and just have a good time. And everyone's welcome to attend. Everyone's welcome to join us. But stay tuned for more from that. And I want to give our members a quick shout out before I leave. I'll start with, we've got the Real Uncommon podcast with Hinano and Dee. We've got My Collection, My Collectables, K Collections, Evolved, Josh from Collectors Gone Digital, who's been our fantastic co-host and puts out amazing content all the time on YouTube. So definitely check him out. Got Double Quill and of course our very own Chris Severs with their blogs on Go Collect and Medium. Double Quill actually has just released her latest blog called Adventures in VeVe. I believe we're up to number 44. Yep, number 44. Daydream Believers. Really entertaining read, and definitely take the time to read it and support Double Quill. Again, both Chris and Double Quill, very talented writers in the space, and get behind them, give them as much support as you can. We've also got DoktaStrange with all things strange with his Stack and Slack videos. Fantastic source of information about the coming comic drops on VeVe. And what else we have here? Oh, I've got VeVe Arcade with his show he does every Sunday. And also does his fantastic Light Parade collection of NFTs. And just another amazing member of the community, always full of energy and spirit. We've got the biggest bro as well, who co-hosts his shows on Sunday, and also another positive member of the space as well. Also, we've got Shawnee Poo with Shawnee Poo Tube, Informant BEMO with Skin and Bones, and also got Mr. Falcon with Watching Films on the Toilet, which is his podcast he does on Spotify with his co-host Damon. He also is a really talented vault builder as well. And does some really cool. Was putting out a lot of cool content lately with his son, which is really really cool to see. And we also have Olga MKC with her MetaKitties project. Check that out on OpenSea if you're interested in that. Also, big shout out to Miss Gecko as well, who also hosts the Reset with Dave, and also is all over the X Spaces, and also does moderating for other content creators as well, as we've seen with the interview with Metamona. And we've got one more. So got Casual. Big shout out to Casual who does the amazing AI artwork. He's the one responsible for my Funko profile picture. Very very cool. And also hosts his own spaces from time to time, and just another real positive voice in the space. So I get behind him. And last one, I promise this is the last one. Last but not least, Mr. Osmond Collect 63, which is myself. I do Relax and Read every Friday. Where I do live comic book readings of the comics that we have on VeVe. Last episode, I did the Amazing Spider-Man number 129, which I believe is the first appearance of the Punisher, and that's over on the VeVe Collective's YouTube channel and on my own YouTube channel, Osmond Collect 63. If you want to check that out, and stay tuned because there'll be more coming the coming Friday. And right on that note, I need to go because my wife is threatening to turn the internet off. So on that note, I'm going to say big thank you again. Thank you to everybody. This has been VeVe Weekends, episode 21. So also big thank you to Josh for helping me co-host, and stay tuned for more. So have a good one, guys. Take care. Talk more soon.